Two teams on the heels of 3 straight losses. Two teams that know each other well, but one team that's beaten the other team 3 times in a row to start off the 2023 season. The Orleans Firebirds trying to stay perfect in their final regular season matchup with the Brewster Whitecaps from Stony Brook Field. Hello, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us on the Birds Broadcast Network. Ian Nicholas joined alongside Dylan Pescatore. You'll hear from the third member of our crew, Sammy Miller, in just a few moments. Dylan, no game yesterday for the Firebirds, a home matchup with the YD Red Sox canceled due to rain. It's been a theme this week. 3 games impacted by Mother Nature. But tonight, a beautiful, hot day from Stony Brook Elementary.
Gorgeous day, great day for baseball. And it's a great day for one of these teams, hopefully the Firebirds in our standpoint, to break that losing streak as well. They fared well, pretty good here at Stony Brook this year, 2-0. And looking for the road season sweep.
How does Orleans get back in the win column? Because you had the 2 wins early last week against West Division foes in Wareham and Hyannis. Then you have 3 days impacted by weather or a regularly scheduled off day. And ever since, Orleans is 0-3. Why?
I'll tell you why. They have to get back to what's worked earlier in this season, and that was low scoring, well pitching, good defensive type of games. And in those games, the offense wasn't really showing up as much. Now the offense is getting going, but you have to get back to 2 of the 3 phases of the game that really worked well in the first 2 to 3 weeks of the season, which was really good pitching, limiting other teams to, at times, 3 or less runs, and, of course, playing really good defense. In the last week or so, when the losses have kind of piled up, it's been those phases of the game that they haven't been perfect on.
Well, one of the really good pitchers on this Orleans Firebirds pitching staff to start the season, as we continue scorching start here on the Birds Broadcast Network, was Dylan Jacobs out of Stetson. Unfortunately, Jacobs suffered an injury in the game against Cotuit late last week, and Sammy Miller has a little bit more on just how much he meant to the team. Sammy?
Yes, Ian, thank you. When he got hit, he was unable to put any weight on that ankle and left the game to go to the hospital on crutches. We have now learned that he has a broken fibula and will not be returning back to the Firebirds. Dylan was not only one of the Orleans' best starting pitchers, but one of the most beloved guys on the team. Now, after the injury, his teammates all huddled around him while Dylan was still rocking that smile that he always has. Of course, his high-level pitching will be greatly missed on this team, but also his energy and positivity will also be missed. Kelly Nicholson added how even though this is a bump in the road for Dylan, he's sure that he'll be extremely successful and come back even stronger than ever. Our thoughts and prayers are with Dylan and wish for his very speedy recovery back to the field. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Sammy. We continue scorching start here on the Birds Broadcast Network just about 10 minutes before first pitch at 5 o'clock between Orleans and Brewster. Dylan, the injury of Dylan Jacobs is really going to hurt this team, not only because he's a great guy, but a great member of a starting rotation that looks a lot different now. Daniel Aviti is still here, but Jake Peppers, he just got drafted yesterday by the Chicago White Sox, and other names have come and gone for a starting pitching rotation that was among the best in the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Yeah, it was a rotation that really had a great start to the year. They were running through 1 through 5, no problemo. But then as you got through the season, some guys hit innings limits. Of course, Jacobs' injury a few days prior. It's now kind of thrown everything into a spiral. The only consistent guy still there, like you said, Ian, is Daniel Aviti. So they're kind of, mixing and matching when it comes to bullpen guys who used to be starters. And that's, of course, who the Firebirds have on the mound today in Grayson Carter. His first start of the season for the Firebirds. He started in the midweek for Vanderbilt, was mostly a bullpen guy, throws really hard, but he's not built up to be a starter yet. But because of these injuries, he's going to have to be the guy to come out on the mound in the first inning.
What are you looking for most with Grayson Carter? The 6'5", 250-pound right-handed pitcher from Vanderbilt heading into his junior season. Dylan, he throws so unbelievably hard in a league that has unbelievable pitching. He's been clocked at 100.5 miles an hour, which is the top mark in the league in terms of pitching velocity, according to TrackMan. What has he done so well out of a bullpen and hopefully tonight in a starting role here for the Orleans Firebirds?
Well, that's been great, and his velocity is top of the league, top tier, 100%. But it's all about putting away batters when you're facing them. At times, he can get into long battles because these guys know how to face 98, 99. They do so at college. They do so off the high-velocity machines. How can he use his fastball that can pinpoint it at the top of the zone and also use a slider to also kind of throw hitters off their mark and finish them off, to not get into long battles, because he is on a limited pitch count tonight.
This is Carter's 5th appearance of his summer. His first start, he's pitched 3 innings for Orleans, surrendering 2 hits, no runs, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts. Appeared in 13 games with 7 starts, mostly in the midweek for Vanderbilt in the spring. Dylan, switching from the pitching to the offense with this Firebirds squad, what does this Firebirds team need to do to get back to the offense that is consistently not only getting hits, but driving in big-time runs with guys in scoring position?
Well, they have to get back to just not being they're pressing a little bit when it gets to those positions, whether it's runners in scoring position and, second and third, 1 out, or even bases loaded, nobody out. Whatever position it might be, it feels like they're pressing a little bit. They're getting a little bit stressed at the plate. So taking what the pitcher can give to them, putting a good swing on balls. And right now, when they are doing just that, line drives or really hard hit balls, they're just going to the fielder's glove. So you have to, of course, go process over results, continue to do what you're doing, and hopefully the results follow.
It's also a stressful time, Dylan, because the MLB draft is currently happening, and obviously a lot of these players want to take their game to the next level. They've been dreaming for these last few days for the entirety of their lives, and I know you pointed to your computer screen just a few moments ago. Another Firebird on the move?
Yes, Johnny Olmstead drafted in the 19th round to the Miami Marlins with pick number 563. Really good for him. Great guy, just finished 4 years at USC, and he is now going to be in the Marlins system. Couldn't be a better guy, and really just so happy for him to get picked and now move on to pro ball.
And a couple other players who've been drafted over the last few days. Jacob Wilson, a Firebird last year, drafted 6th overall to the Oakland Athletics. Former Grand Canyon star Luke Keeschel from Arizona State. He was drafted top 50 as well on Sunday. And then yesterday, 3 Firebirds on this year's team, all pitchers. Chris Clark, Danny Carrion, and as already mentioned, Jake Peppers, all drafted into the major league ranks. Dylan, Joe Oyama's been fantastic all summer, switching from pitching to offense, and he's been great against Brewster. 3 hits in each of his last 2 games against the Whitecaps. He is the anchor at the top of this lineup.
And he has been that anchor ever since Austin Overn left the team, of course, for Team USA. He kind of took up that spot, and he's leading the top of the order. That hasn't really been the problem for the Firebirds. It's bringing the power, and I think that a name that's really bringing a lot of it, even though he's only been here for a few minutes, has been Colin Tuft. He had a great game against Katuitt, 2 doubles. He played awesome defense as well in the outfield. Colin Tuft could be a middle-of-the-bat guy for this order that can really show up and kind of take up a cleanup role or a 5 spot and can bring a lot of power to this order.
Tuft can certainly be an impact player in this order. I had the opportunity to talk to Joe Oyama before the game, and he is the guy who's going to be leading off for the Birds. Tuft also in the bottom of the lineup, but let's see what Joe had to say to me here on a scorching start. The Firebirds have had a couple days off, so we had to catch up with somebody who has been on all summer long, and Joe Oyama. Joe, no game yesterday, a little bit of rain. You do anything fun on your day off?
No, I just chill. It was great.
How's it been over the last week? There's been 2 rainouts, a fog out. What's been maybe like the one go-to thing you, the guys, have just kind of done to stay locked in?
Well, it's kind of bad because we have to remake it the game after, but I enjoyed my day off, so it was great.
What's been your favorite, maybe most surprising thing here on the Cape? Because I'm assuming, as a West Coast guy and obviously being from Japan initially, you've probably never been out here. What's the one thing you've enjoyed about the Cape?
Hey, beach.
The beach?
Yeah, hang out with my teammates, and then maybe beach is the best place.
What's it like playing with a guy like Matt Hallback again? Because last summer with the Wenatchee Apple Sox, you guys tore it up there. You're a couple California school guys. What's it like playing with him once again in the infield?
It's awesome. He's one of my best friends. Obviously, it's always fun, to play with him. Being around him and just hang out with him. It's awesome.
Here with Joe Oyama on the scorching start. You've hit 4 triples this summer. Last time you played Brewster, Matt legged out a triple. What's the greatest part about his game? Obviously he tears it up at UC San Diego. What's his greatest strength?
Hitting. Hitting is his best tool, I guess.
And how about you? I know obviously you're very unselfish. You do everything for this team. But this summer, where do you think you've made your greatest strides? Because you've just been doing a lot of things really, really well.
I mean, since, I've been hitting leadoff, so trying to get on the base every time and then trying to help the team to win. Yeah, that's all I'm trying to do right now, yeah.
What would you say is the biggest difference from playing in the West Coast with Matt in that West Coast League compared to playing here in the Cape Cod Baseball League?
What was the question again?
What do you think is the biggest difference between playing in a West Coast League and playing in a Cape Cod Baseball League?
Well, I think baseball is baseball. It's the same, but like obviously the Cape Cod League is the best league in the country. So I think better competition here. So yeah, I think competition-wise the biggest difference.
And then I guess last question for you. 3 games in a row, you guys dropped a game. How do you feel, especially after that day off? What's the biggest thing maybe offensively the guys have to get back to do in order to get back in the win column in a big game today?
Well, we got the day off yesterday, so at least my body feel better. So hopefully, we'll do. I mean, we've been doing good, so hopefully we're just gonna do same thing. Just do what we can do and just trying to win the game.
Trying to win the game. Joe Oyama, he's done a lot to help this team win a lot of games this year. Thanks so much, Joe, for joining us.
Thank you.
Dylan, back to you.
Thanks, Ian. Back here on the Scorching start, we're about 5 minutes away from first pitch. So let's go through the Orleans Firebirds batting order. Joe Oyama, who you just heard of, is leading off, batting second. Justin Rubin at short tonight, batting second. Joe Oyama leads off. Jack Penny is in the 3 spot, playing third base. Matt Hallback does the cleanup, playing first. Eddie Micheletti in the 5 spot. Fenwick Trimble batting 6. Jake Casey, Colin Tuft, and Henry Hunter are your bottom 3 for the Birds, who are looking to break a 3-game losing streak. Currently 10 wins, 13 losses on the season.
Both teams coming into this game tied for third in the East Division. Orleans 3-0 against Brewster this summer. But as Dylan mentioned, Orleans on a 3-game skid, so are the Whitecaps. Before we wrap up shop here on the Scorching Start on the Birds Broadcast Network, got to thank our official pregame sponsor at Siemens Bank. As Cape Cod's first community bank, Siemens Bank is proud to support the Firebirds and the special place they hold in the hearts of the Orleans community. Siemens Bank provides our local businesses, families, friends, and nonprofit organizations with the products and services they need with the local and personal service they deserve. Please stop by any of their branches or go to siemensbank.com and see what they can do for you. Siemens Bank, member FDIC, member DIF. It is a hot one, 84 degrees and sunny from Brewster's Stony Brook Field. First pitch, just a few moments away between these East Division rivals. We'll take a step aside for the national anthem and get things underway at 5 o'clock. Make sure to come back on the Birds Broadcast Network.
Cape Cod 5 is a long-standing supporter of the Cape Cod Baseball League and is actively involved in all communities it serves. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to throw out our ceremonial first pitch, Joe Beasley. Joe is a Cape native who lives in Brewster and works in the Human Resources Department at Cape Cod 5. Joe grew up chasing foul balls and hunting for autographs the Whitey Red Sox, and now he calls Brewster home. Accompanying him to throw out the first pitch is his daughter, Isla, who assists him throwing out the first pitch. Joe and Isla. The field is yours. Isla wants to keep it. There we go. Again, Joe and Isla Beasley. Great job, thank you. And please pay a visit over to the table for the Banking Center manager, Victoria Burke. Let's hear from the entire Cape Cod 5 team. Welcome one and all. Be sure to stop by the sponsor station adjacent to the 50-50 raffle tables next to the press box. Fans, at this time, we ask that you kindly rise and remove your caps for the national anthem. Here to perform our anthem is Brewster resident Jim Nosler. He's a singer-songwriter from Austin, Texas, loves to sing and plays guitar. He plays all around the Cape regularly. Jim and his partner Joan are proud to call Brewster our home. They love the 4 seasons here on the Cape and love the Brewster Whitecaps.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we had lights last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Jim Nosler. Thank you so much. Well done.
The Orleans Firebirds and Brewster Whitecaps ready to get things underway from Stony Brook Field on a gorgeous Tuesday evening. Ian Nicholas, Dylan Pescatore on the call on the Birds Broadcast Network. Thanks so much for joining us. Making his second start on the summer for Brewster, the 6-foot, 200-pound rising junior from Clemson. It's left-handed pitcher Rocco Reed. And around Reed today, Derek Berg behind the dish, Ike Irish at first, Mason White at second, Peyton Green at third, Davis Diaz at short, James Tibbs in left, Will Turner in center, and Josh Pearson in right for Jamie Shevchek's crew. The Whitecaps wearing the navy blue tops, with the teal lettering, white trim, pinstripe white pants, teal caps with the navy blue brims. Meanwhile, Orleans wearing the black vest jerseys this afternoon with the white lettering, red trim, white pants, and black helmets. Dylan, 3-0 this season, Orleans against Brewster. What do you think you've seen in all 3 games, which has allowed the Birds to come out on top?
I've seen a Birds team that's very fundamentally sound. Now, how can you do that? I feel like that's kind of gotten away from them in the last week. But when they're fundamentally great on defense, when they're moving runners over with bunts, when they're doing what they can, of course, on the mound, firing strikes and not allowing free passes, that is the strategy that they've used and have succeeded against the Whitecaps so far this year. If they can do that again, they will come out successful for the 4th time.
Rocco Reed throws his final warm-up pitch. Ball circulating around the infield, and it gets right back into the glove of number 19. The left-handed pitcher from Greenville, South Carolina, faces the superstar second baseman from UC Irvine, Joe Oyama. Starting for the Firebirds for the 17th game in a row at the top of the order and at second base. What doesn't Joe Oyama do? Second in the league in batting average, 3rd in on-base plus slugging. 18 games in a row, the rising senior has reached base. Rocco's first pitch misses high, 1-0.
Joe Oyama, so good at just making contact, and strikeouts were a little bit of a problem for him at the start, but he's really cut down on them. The high fastball he's taking, he's being very selective at the plate as well. Just such a complete player at the top of this order.
2 balls, no strikes as he leads off in the top of the first. Here's the pitch. It misses outside, 3-0. Calling the balls and strikes tonight is Joseph Giacco. And at first, Joe Cruz. At third, Anthony Brunetti. The umpire crew. Oyama ahead 3-0. Reed is yet to find the zone. He deals. And Oyama lays off it for ball 4. A leadoff 4-pitch walk for Joe Oyama. It's 19 games in a row that the native of Okinawa, Japan, has reached base. He is just so great at the top of this order.
Doesn't bite. Rocco Reed, of course, with one start this year. Last time out against Chatham 9 days ago, 4 innings, 3 runs, 3 hits, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts. He knows how to punch guys out.
Scoreless game, top 1. Reed deals and lands a pitch on the inside corner for a strike to the right-handed shortstop, transferring to Pepperdine after 2 years at Virginia, Justin Rubin. The righty Rubin against the lefty Reed with 1 on and nobody out. The 0-1 pitch misses high and evens the count 1-1. Dylan, that's now 6 pitches and 5 balls from the rising junior from Clemson.
Yeah, this reminds me of Cassius Thomas a few days ago back at home against Falmouth for the Firebirds. They have to just be very patient. Make Rocco Reed throw it in the zone.
The 1-1 pitch on the ground towards first, backhanded by Irish. He throws for at second and cannot get Joe Oyama out. He misses a Davis Diaz. The shortstop was covering the bag. That's 1 away at first, but Oyama is safe at second.
Great play by Irish. He scooped it right at the bag, tagged first base with his glove, and then threw to second, but couldn't get it around Oyama, and Diaz couldn't make the pick. So basically, almost like a sacrifice bunt, if we think about it like that for Rubin. He moves the runner over to second.
So the man batting third is Jack Penny after the ground out from Rubin. 1 on, 1 out. Penny takes the ball. Lefty on lefty, 1-0. And Oyama now at second after that errant throw from Ike Irish at first.
These are the situations that the Firebirds have struggled in the past 2 games. They have to get this going. They have to get the first pitch and the first lead.
Reed's 1-0. In for a strike, 1-1 to Penny. He was 2 for 4 with 2 runs batted in his last time out against Brewster. A 3-2 win here from Stony Brook on the 27th of June. Oyama dancing off second. Reed looks at him, deals the 1-1. It's fair on the ground in between short and third. Diaz has to eat it up. It's an infield single for Jack Penny. The all-SEC infielder, Davis Diaz, gloved it, ranging to his right, but couldn't make a play. So Oyama slides to third, and Penny takes his spot at first. 2 on, 1 out. Still scoreless, top 1.
That was a perfect swing by Penny, right in between third and short. On the backhand, Diaz took it, but like you said, Ian, he had to eat the throw because he wasn't going to get the speedy Penny. Sets up the Firebirds really well here in the first.
Matt Hallback, the righty, against the lefty Reed. Here's the pitch. He shows bunt, lays it down fair in front of Reed. Oyama stays at third, Penny to second, and out at first is Matt Hallback as Rocco Reed throws it over to Ike Irish. 2 away, but now 2 runners in scoring position for Orleans with 2 outs in the top of the first, still 0-0.
Those are the type of situations, and I don't mind the opportunity to bunt, but you have to get one down that scores the runner. Yes, it moves the runner over to second, but now it makes Eddie Micheletti have to come through with 2 outs.
It's lefty on lefty for Micheletti against Reed. Penny on second, Oyama off third. Here's the pitch. Misses outside for Reed, 1-0. Oyama on third after a leadoff walk. Penny on second. He reached on an infield single to short. Micheletti 3 for 12 this summer against Brewster, including a home run. A ball and no strikes. Now 2-0. Another miss outside from the left-handed hurler from Clemson.
Micheletti always very selective at the plate. He's not going to chase out of the zone.
One of the 25 toughest players in all of Division I to strike out with George Washington in the spring. The 2-0 pitch also misses outside to the Delaware native. He's ahead 3-0. Reed a ball away from loading the bases with Penny on second, Oyama on third, and a scoreless tie in the top of the first. Micheletti checks his left shoe, a black Adidas cleat. He's all good. Reed, 3 balls, no strikes, deals. Misses outside, ball 4. That's the second walk handed out from Reed. Both of them have been 4-pitch walks, and the bases loaded for Orleans as Fenwick Trimble comes to the plate.
What an opportunity for Fenwick Trimble, and he had a really good game last time out against Katuitt with 2 hits, went 2 for 4, had a lot of good line drives to left field. Also played great defense in that game. Made a great catch early in right field.
Reed deals to Trimble, misses at his ankles, 1-0. Low and in to the righty, who just finished up his sophomore season with James Madison. Reed trying to settle it in. With the bases juiced and 2 out. 0-0, top 1 from Stony Brook. Here's the pitch. Also near the ankles of Trimble. 2 balls, no strikes. 6 balls in a row from the South Carolina native Reed.
If I'm Trimble, I'm taking all the way here. I'm forcing Reed to throw me a strike before I even think of swinging the bat.
Reed still waiting for the sign. Behind home plate from catcher. Strike on the inside part of the plate, 2-1. Bases still loaded, 2 out. As Reed gets back on. Oyama off third, Penny off second, Micheletti off first. 2 balls and a strike. 3-1. Low and in. That's been a theme in this at bat to Trimble. And Reed now a ball away from forcing in a run for Orleans with Oyama on third.
And if you're Trimble, this ball has to be right in your zone. You have to know that you can do damage with it, or else let it go.
Reed exhales, deals the 3-1. Upstairs, ball 4. Orleans leads 1-0. Top 1 with a bases-loaded walk. It's the 3rd free pass of the inning handed out by Rocco Reed. It allows Joe Oyama to score as Fenwick Trimble drives in the run.
Great job by Trimble. Didn't want to do too much. Took what Reed gave him, which were 4 balls out of 5 pitches. Gets an RBI, maybe not how he wanted to, but gets the lead.
Now it's Jake Casey who takes the strike. The left-handed designated hitter from Kent State. Goes behind 0-1. Bases still loaded. Penny off third, Micheletti off second, Trimble off first. 1-0 Orleans after a bases-loaded walk for Trimble. Reed deals. Fastball misses high, and Casey, who's playing his first game in 10 games for the Firebirds, evens the count 1-1.
A little bit of a leg issue. Still wearing the guard on the front leg for Casey, which is the right leg. Got hit a few games ago, which is why he hasn't been in the lineup.
It was on the road against Bourne in a loss. He's been hit by pitch 4 times this year. The 1-1 misses outside. 2 balls and a strike as Casey gets ahead. Bases juiced, 2 out. Orleans already leads 1-0 with only 1 hit. An infield single from Jack Penny, who's off third. The beneficiary of 3 walks handed out by Brewster starter Rocco Reed. 2-1 on the way home. Casey, a big swing and a miss. 2-2.
Feels like in the short season that Casey has played so far, at times he can get a little big. He can start to do a little bit too much. A shortened swing now with 2 strikes. Choke up on the bat and try to put this ball in play.
Casey 5 for 32 from the plate this summer. 2 home runs to his name. On the 2-2 pitch, he's hit by the pitch again. A breaking ball gets his lower back, and it's another bases-loaded free pass handed out by Rocco Reed. 2-0 Orleans, top 1. Jack Penny scores.
When you have an offense that's struggling, not too bad to get gifted a few runs. How about that? Not only was the bases loaded walk, now you got the hit by pitch with the bases juiced. Crazy. And then that's how you start the game for the Firebirds, and now you got one of the hottest hitters up for the Birds.
That being the recent acquisition, really recent addition. This isn't a professional team. Colin Tuff, the center fielder at the plate. Pitching coach Brian Del Rosso for Brewster, as well as catcher Derek Berg, having a conference on the mound with Rocco Reed, who's not only handed out 4 walks, but just plunked Jake Casey to drive in another run. Bases still loaded. Micheletti off third, he walked. Trimble on second, he walked and drove in a run. Joe Oyama scored. And on first, Jake Casey. Colin Tuft, the Vienna, Virginia native, 30 minutes outside of Washington, D.C., faces Rocco Reed. The righty Tuft against the lefty Reed. Here's the pitch. Up and in, strike 1. Tuft starting in center field for his second time as a Firebird tonight. He's played all 3 outfield spots for the Birds. Still wearing his navy blue and orange batting gloves, representing his 2 years spent with Virginia. The 0-1 is cranked to right and foul the opposite way. 0-2.
Tuft had a great game against Katuitt last time out. 2 doubles, reached 3 of 5 times up. He's really been a big addition, like you said, Ian, to this team in all facets of the game.
3 of 10 from the plate through 3 games with those 2 doubles and a run driven in. Bases loaded, 2 out, 2-0 Orleans, top 1. No balls, 2 strikes to Colin Tuft. Reed deals. Down the middle, strike 3. Yelling out the call on the backwards K is Joseph Giacco. And a long inning for Rocco Reed ends with 2 runs coming across the board for Orleans. An RBI walk for Fenwick Trimble and a bases loaded hit by pitch. Gets the back of Jake Casey. Brings 2 runs across the board for the Birds. Grayson Carter making his first start for Orleans, trying to keep it 2-0 Orleans when we come back in the bottom of the first. Back in the Birds Broadcast Network in the bottom of the first. Ian Nicholas and Dylan Pescatore on the call. Before we tell you what's happening in this game, some more Firebirds-related MLB draft news. Riley Fry, one of the most reliable options out of a bullpen for Kelly Nicholson this summer, drafted in the 19th round of the Atlanta Braves from Wisconsin-Milwaukee. Congratulations, the second Firebird drafted today on this current roster alongside USC infielder Johnny Olmstead, not in the lineup tonight. Firebirds getting the first start of the summer from Grayson Carter, the right-hander from Vanderbilt. The defense around him includes Henry Hunter behind the dish, Matt Hallback at first, Joe Oyama at second, Jack Penny at third, Justin Rubin at short, Eddie Micheletti in left, Colin Tuft in center, and Fenwick Trimble in right. Dylan, 2-0 Orleans, but you leave the bases loaded and stranded to end the top of the frame.
I mean, yeah, it was a great inning. You got the walk and the hit by pitch, but you still only came up with 1 hit, and once again they leave the bases loaded. It feels like they left a lot of meat on the bone there against a Brewster team that at times can have their pitching problems, but if they're gonna give you bases loaded, feels like they needed more than 2 in that inning, but you take it, and now you pass the ball to Grayson Carter.
Grayson Carter, who made 7 starts in the spring, all during the midweek for Vanderbilt, makes his first start of the summer and his 5th appearance as a Bird, faces Will Turner, the left-handed center fielder. His fastball in for strike 1 on the upper third of the zone to the South Alabama product. Turner, the lefty, facing the right-handed Carter, 2-0 Orleans, bottom 1. The 0-1 pitch is popped foul to right. Racing forward is Matt Hallback, but barking, it's out of here, is Henry Hunter from behind the dish. It's 0-2.
Carter's throwing a lot of strikes, and that's such a good sign for him. He said coming into this year that his goal in the summer is to really cut down on his walks. That's what can get him in trouble.
Well, Will Turner leads Brewster in walks. And on the 0-2, he takes for ball 1, an offering low of the zone from Carter. Doesn't bite for it. Turner, 13 walks on the summer. That's top 10 in the Cape Cod Baseball League. 2-0 Orleans, bottom 1. A ball and 2 strikes on the way to the plate. Turner fouls it off. We'll do it again.
Talking about his control, Carter hasn't thrown in 10 days. Part of that, of course, due to the fog, rain, whatever has deterred this team from playing baseball. It was against Bourne on July 1st. Had a walk and a hit by pitch. Nothing else. Only faced 2 batters.
The 1-2 pitch, just low with the fastball. Now 2-2 to Turner. He did pitch in that Wednesday game, if you want to call it that, at Chatham, which lasted not even 4 innings before being canceled due to fog. The 2-2 offering, also low. Turner not expanding the zone. And he's worked 3 straight balls out of Carter to work the count full, who readjusts his hat on the mound and takes a moment before toeing the rubber once again.
That's the issue. It's at times with Grayson Carter, if there even is one, putting away batters has been a little bit of a problem for him.
Payoff to Turner on the way. Inside, ball 4. A really good at bat from the leadoff man, Will Turner. his Brewster Whitecaps leading 14th walk on the summer from 0-2 to ball 4. 1 on, nobody out, 2-0 Orleans. Bottom 1.
A long inning for the Firebirds, which means a long inning for Grayson Carter in the dugout. He's got to start to find his stuff now after he was in the Orleans Firebirds dugout for had to be 10 to 15 minutes.
Now Carter trying to regain some command and get an out against his collegiate teammate, the shortstop for Brewster, Vanderbilt's own Davis Diaz. Righty on righty. Fastball misses low, blocked up by Henry Hunter. It keeps Will Turner at first. He's got 6 stolen bags on the summer. Good speed. He wears the oven mitt on his left hand. Bright red, not for the Brewster colors, but for his collegiate team, South Alabama. The tying run at the plate. Carter's 1-0. In for a strike on the inner half. 1-1 to be all SEC defensive team selection. And his collegiate teammate with the Commodores in Diaz. 1-1. Carter at the belt. Kick steals the 1-1. Swing and a miss. High fastball. Diaz behind 1-2. As he has a quick word with home plate umpire Joseph Giacco. And steps back in. Sporting the white arm sleeve on his right arm. The 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball fouled off in the top of the zone. Half swing from Diaz. It's still 1-2.
Carter's doing a good job of attacking the top of the zone with the fastball. Diaz looks a little bit on it. Now how can he put away guys without the heat? How can he bring a slider or bring a changeup in there to catch them off guard?
1 on, nobody out. Ahead in the count, 1-2, trying to retire Diaz. His pitch gets the swing and miss. That's not the first time this summer Carter has struck out one of his collegiate teammates. And it probably won't be the last. 1 away as Diaz goes down swinging. Turner still on first after his leadoff walk. And here's the right fielder by way of LSU, the left-handed Josh Pearson. Pearson's been the hottest bat in this Brewster Whitecaps order. He's only played 4 games, but he's got a hit in every single one of them for Jamie Shevchek's crew. Carter's first pitch to him. Misses low, and it's dropped by Henry Hunter. Taking off for seconds, Will Turner. There's no throw. Turner slides in safe. Hunter had to dance around home plate umpire Joseph Giacco and couldn't recover in time to potentially throw out Turner. So already a runner in scoring position with 1 out for Brewster.
Yeah, pitch that was low. Hunter just couldn't corral it. Got into a little bit of a tussle match for positioning.
Swinging a foul ball. It dribbles down the first base line, scooped up by an Orleans bat boy. 1-1 to Pearson. The tying run at the plate in a 2-0 game, led by Orleans. In the bottom of the first, Birds scored on a bases-loaded walk and a bases-loaded hit by pitch for Fenwick Trimble and Jake Casey, respectively, in the top of the inning, as Rocco Reed handed out a few too many free passes. Carter fakes the throw to second. Turner gets back to the bag, being covered by shortstop Justin Rubin. Gives Turner another long look. A ball and a strike to count. He deals and misses low, and again it gets by Henry Hunter. And moving over to third is Will Turner. It was another low pitch, Dylan.
That one a pass ball for sure on Hunter, one that he could have corralled. He's going to now talk with Carter. Maybe a little bit of, miscommunication when it comes to signs. That could be a reason why.
Henry Hunter, the rising junior, spent his first 2 years at Alabama, Birmingham. Now transferring to Georgia. He is a Georgia native. Having a little chat with Grayson Carter, he returns to his spot behind the plate. Henry Hunter, he's been really awesome all summer at being one of the vocal leaders of this team and being a straight shooter. So communicating needed to be done there between the two. Runner on third, 1 out, 2-0 Orleans, bottom 1. 2-1 pitch is a line drive on the ground. Joe Oyama lays out for it, throws it to first. It's gloved by Hellback. 2 away, but Turner scores It's an RBI ground out for Josh Pearson, who does a job, hits the ball towards the right side of the infield, and allows Will Turner to score. Brewster still down 2-1, bottom one.
What a play by Joe Oyama. On the backhand, diving, had to get up and to throw out Pearson in time. Really good play from the second baseman. He's made those plays all year long, and that's just another one to the jukebox.
Oyama has been fantastic. Fine music in the batter's box and at second base. Swing and a miss of a first pitch for Derek Berg, the catcher from Army. Righty on righty. He goes behind 0-1. Carter's 0-1 pitch, fouled away 0-2. It's Berg's final day with the Whitecaps, unfortunately, because as I mentioned, he plays collegiately at West Point. He has to leave for Army field training tonight, heading into his senior season with the Golden Knights.
What a story. Just to come here for a week, experience baseball, and then head back.
The 0-2 offering misses outside, 1-2. When he graduates after next year, he'll be a second lieutenant in the United States Army. And he's a student athlete at the collegiate level. It's a lot. Bases empty, 2 out. 1-2 pitch from Carter. Misses low. It's 2-2 with Orleans up 2-1, bottom one.
Ian, when we talked about in the pregame show on Scorching Start, what do the Firebirds have to do to win this game? It was all about being fundamentally correct, fundamentally sound. So far on defense, the Firebirds have not been that way.
The 2-2, swing and a miss. That's a good sound for Grayson Carter. The ball finding the glove of Henry Hunter after strike 3 on the whiff from Derek Berg. Both teams a bit shaky after one inning with miscues defensively. But the Birds lead 2-1 after one. We'll be back in the top of the second on the Birds Broadcast Network. Three runs scored off one hit in the first inning between these two teams. That's just the game it's been so far. 2-1 Orleans. We go to the top of the second on the Birds Broadcast Network. Ian Nicholas, Dylan Pescatore on the call. Rocco Reed still on the mound for his second inning of work for Brewster. 9-1-2 due up for the Birds. It starts with the catcher committed to play at Georgia, the left-handed Henry Hunter. Lefty on lefty. Reed's first pitch of his second inning. Misses low, 1-0. Dylan, what does Reed need to do here in the second inning to settle in?
He's got to attack. He's got to attack. You can't walk too many guys and expect to have success.
Chopper towards second. Glove by White. Throw to first in time. Henry Hunter can't beat it out. One away. A much-needed out recorded to start the inning for Rocco Reed after both a bases-loaded walk and a bases-loaded hit by pitch. Scored Orleans some runs. Last frame. Bases empty, 1 out.
They did score those runs. It still felt like they were, they didn't get to that big hit just yet. Let's see if they can get to it this inning.
Joe Oyama, who is top 5 in the league in hits, puts the ball in play towards second. White loses it. Now throws to first and can't make the play. Oyama beats it out. White had it in his left-handed glove, dropped it, spun around in the dirt, throwed it on one leg to first. All said and told, it's an E4 on the Arizona Wildcat. Mason White, and Oyama reaches for the second time in 2 appearances at the plate.
Checked over on White, and he had some trouble with the hopper. Defense for the Brewster Whitecaps have not been that good this year.
Strike called to Justin Rubin on the first pitch he sees against the lefty Reed, the right-handed Rubin. Still waiting for the sign from third base coach Max Fesky, and he steps back in. First error of the game for either team. The 0-1 is on the ground, pass short and into the left field for a base hit. The damage continues to be done by the top of the order for Orleans. Oyama to second after he reached on an error, and Rubin on first with his second hit of the game for the Birds. Kelly Nicholson out of a dugout on the right side of the field. He wants a word with somebody. And now he's going to have a conversation with home plate umpire Joseph Giacco. He's having a conversation under his scorecard. Does not want anybody to know what's up. But apparently something's up, Dylan, as now all 3 officials having a conversation with the 18th-year manager along the first base line.
Trying to think what it could be about. Oyama at second. Rubin at first.
1 out. An 0-1 pitch.
I have no idea.
No idea. Sometimes things happen, and you don't really know why they do. But it's still 2 on and 1 out. A 2-1 game at the top of the second. Jack Penny, the lefty, up to the plate. He swings and misses. 0-1. Penny, he reached on an infield single his first time up and scored on the Jake Casey hit by pitch last inning. No balls and a strike. Reed looks at Oyama at second and deals. Misses on the inside corner to the rising junior from Notre Dame, now 1-1.
Jack Penny has been one of the best bat-to-ball guys on this team. And what I mean by that, I mean to put the ball in play and with a purpose as well.
Drove in 2 runs in his last game against Brewster. Hitting .230 on the season, but he's come up in big spots. Like you said. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 on, 1 out. Reed kicks his leg, but then steps off the rubber as he pushes Oyama back to the second base bag. He's got 3 stolen bases this year on 7 attempts. He's been caught stealing 4 times, tied for most in the league. Reed gives him a long look, now deals the 1-1. In the air, popping in the right, moving towards his left, Josh Pearson. He makes the catch. Oyama stays at second, and obviously Rubin stays at first, 2 away on the fly out to right from Penny.
It is a long way to go in right field here at Stony Brook. And Jack Penny just got a little taste of it. Looked like a bloop, but great job by Pearson to come in and make the catch. These are the type of at-bats with runners on that the Firebirds really need to take advantage of.
Matt Hallback trying to take advantage of a good situation. 2 on, 2 out. Runners on first and second. Reed deals to the righty and lands a strike on the inner half, 0-1 to the California native. Oyama, Hallback's former summer ball teammate with the Wenatchee Apple Sox on second. Justin Rubin after his single to left on first. Reed's 0-1. Low and in, 1-1.
Hallback's got a lot of good power. Last time asked to bunt, and that's what's really been so, I don't even know if it's nice, but a lot of these guys, they put against their egos, even though they might have 20 home runs at college, they say, I will drop down a bunt to move the runners over.
On the 1-1, he swings, but fouls it away 1-2. Didn't have 20 home runs during his sophomore year at UC San Diego, but it was a very productive season as a Triton. 6 home runs, nearly 40 runs driven in, an all Big West first-team selection as a sophomore. Trying to drive in a few runs here with Oyama on second after he reached on an error and Rubin on first after his single. The 1-2 pitch misses in. Now 2 balls, 2 strikes to Hallback. Reed, he had an up-and-down sophomore season with Clemson. It started giving up 15 runs in his first 11 appearances of the year. Then in his last 5 appearances and 4 1/3, didn't give up a single run. Clemson thought about putting him in a weekend starting rotation despite his 8 ERA on the year. The 2-2 also misses inside. Another good take from Hallback. He's worked the count full And for the second inning in a row, Orleans can load the bases with one more ball.
Such great plate discipline on Hallback. He will not chase.
First and second, 2 out. 2-1 Orleans, top 2. A full count to Hallback. Reed deals. On the ground, a chopper to Diaz at short. He throws to first, and he makes the play. Orleans leaves more base runners stranded in the top of the inning. Rocco Reed navigates through traffic, keeps it a 1-run affair. But Orleans has the advantage in 2-1 Birds. We go to the bottom of the second on the Birds Broadcast Network. Bottom of the second on the Birds Broadcast Network. It's a beautiful Tuesday night from Stony Brook. 84 and sunny. It's a packed house, and it's a tight game. Orleans the lead, 2-1. Grayson Carter still on the mound for his second inning of work. He faces 5, 6, and 7, starting with the left-handed left fielder, James Tibbs, who takes the ball as Carter misses upstairs with the fastball 1-0. Tibbs, a monster sophomore season with Florida State. The 1-0 offering, misses outside 2-0. And he's been really good this summer against Orleans. In 3 games against the Birds, he's hit 2 home runs. And both of them pretty meaningful, coming in the games in which Orleans only edged Brewster by a run. The 2-0 pitch, also outside of a left-handed outfielder, 3-0.
Tibbs had one of the most impressive home runs I've seen this year, taking Nate Ward on a slider, opposite field to left field over the wall here near the scoreboard. Not an easy feat.
This ball on the ground on the 3-0. Yama gloves it in the outfield grass at second, throws to Matt Hallback at first. 1 away as Tibbs puts the ball in play, not over the wall on a slider against Nate Ward, instead of ground out against another big pitcher in Grayson Carter. Base is clear, 1 out, still 2-1 Orleans. Bottom 2.
Grayson Carter said, I'll take that gift. Throwing 3 straight balls, but I'll take the out in the 4th. Usually not a 3-0 swinger is Tibbs, but Carter will take it.
Now he has to face another tough bat in Brock Tibbetts, the designated hitter from Indiana. The righty to face the righty Carter. With the bases clear and now 1 away. The 1-0. Another chopper, this time towards Rubin at second, charging towards first. He throws and makes the play. Justin Rubin so steady at short during his last week with Orleans, and a couple ground outs here in the bottom of the second.
The defense of the Firebirds has really been very good so far in terms of in the field. Rubin, another great play. He's been such an upgrade at shortstop, bringing such a great glove and really shoring up that position.
Ike Irish, the left-handed first baseman, to the plate with the bases empty and 2 out. The defense in the infield for Orleans, including Matt Hallback at first, Joe Yama at second, Jack Penny at third, Justin Rubin at short. A ball and no strikes. Carter's pitch on the way. And outside to Irish, 2-0. Yeah, you mentioned some mainstays in the infield. Joe Oyama's started 18 straight games at second. Jack Penny quietly started 15 in a row at third, and they've both been really good.
They've both been outstanding on defense. Anytime the ball's hit to them, there's no pressure.
2 balls, no strikes. This one shot fair in front of Grayson Carter, trying to prove he can field the ball, and he does. A little soft toss to Matt Hall back at first. Carter goes 1, 2, 3. We'll see if his day is done or if he gives one more inning a go in the bottom of a third. But before then, we got to go to the top of the inning, where Orleans looks to add on to a 2-1 lead against Brewster on the Birds Broadcast Network.
Firebirds are up 2-1 heading to the top of the third. And man, is it a good day to be a Firebird. Just minutes before the national anthem began, USC's Johnny Olmsted was picked by the Marlins in the 19th round of the MLB draft. And right as he got off the phone, the entire team sprinted up to him, yelling, screaming, going crazy. And what makes it even more special is that his dad is here from Los Angeles and was there to celebrate with the person who has helped him through everything. There were definitely lots of tears with him and his father and the team. And then about 5 minutes later, Riley Fry's phone rang, and he was selected by the Braves. Once again, the team rushed over to him, so the energy is very high in the dugout right now.
Thanks, Sammy. It's a good day for a lot of the guys out on the field, as it's a ball and no strikes to Eddie Micheletti in the top of the third. Rocco Reed blows a fastball by a swinging Micheletti. It's 1-1. With the bases clear, nobody out, Micheletti leads off top 3, 2-1 Orleans. Lots of names being called for both Brewster and Orleans over the last few days. As Micheletti goes behind 1-2, it's an exciting time, Dylan. It makes you realize just how good a league this is and how many of these guys can be stars of the next level.
Makes you realize just what we're seeing and how grateful we are.
Blooped up to left field on the 1-2. Micheletti's pop-up is caught at the hip, off the right side of his hip, by left fielder James Tibbs. One away.
And it just tells you, I mean, a lot of these guys, they come in maybe a year before they're draft eligible, but also a few guys got to come over here and prove they can do it with the wood bat, and a lot of them have, including Johnny Olmsted. What a great guy. Definitely deserves this, and I'm really excited to track his career, along with Riley Fry, a guy who stuck it out at the NAIA level.
Yeah, 2 players from completely different backgrounds. And Olmsted, a senior from USC, as Fenwick Trimble behind 0-1. Now 1-1 as Rocco Reed misses up and in to the righty. And Riley Fry, 3 years dominant in the Horizon League at Wisconsin-Milwaukee. 2 really good players here in Orleans. The 1-1 pitch. On the inner half for strike 2. Now 1-2. I know in attendance tonight for Brewster, somebody who got drafted high just last year, Spencer Jones, a Yankees first-round draft pick out of Vanderbilt. The 1-2 pitch swung on and fouled right to the backstop. Trimble still behind in the count with 1 away and nobody on.
Spencer Jones, he's called like the lefty Aaron Judge. That's what I've heard. 6'7" from the left side. He's starting to really put up great numbers in high A and then double A.
The 1-2 misses low, and Trimble's now even the count 2-2. He walked with the bases loaded in the first inning, and it scored a run for Orleans, its first of the day. Aaron Judge and the Brewster Whitecaps. I think they're connected. The 2-2 pitch. And it gets a piece of Trimble. The right-hander took one on the left elbow. Luckily, it caught his black left elbow guard. And he trots over to first in no pain because he's reached base for the second time today. Aaron Judge, obviously a former Brewster Whitecap, one of the biggest names associated with the Cape Cod Baseball League. Another one or at least another guy with connections to the Cape League. And his family is Jake Casey, who comes to the bat. The lefty takes a ball 1-0. Jake's father, Sean, a Reds Hall of Famer at the Major League level, was a Brewster Whitecaps superstar, a Cape League All-Star in the 90s, and a Cape League Hall of Fame inductee. 1 ball, no strikes. Here's the pitch. Upstairs, runner goes off first, and the throw to first, not in time. Trimble slides in head first. He took a large lead. Trying to gun him down behind the dish was Derek Berg. He could not.
Trimble was almost caught in no man's land right there, but got back to first base just in time.
So 1 on, 1 out. 2-0 to Casey. Swing and a miss, 2-1. And Jake's father, Sean, speaking of Yankee connections, got hired yesterday to be the new hitting coach of the New York Yankees. Massive accomplishment. His first major league coaching job. The 2-1 misses high, and again, Berg throws to first to try to throw out Trimble and can't. A lot of groans from the Stony Brook faithful as Trimble slid in head first. The tag once again applied by Ike Irish. They can't gun down Trimble.
Just last game, Trimble slid into home plate for the first run of the game for the second run of the game for the Firebirds. Had a really nice slide, put his hand down, take his body out of the question. He's doing the same thing at first.
The 3-1 pitch is chopped foul down the first base side from Casey. Counts full to the Pittsburgh native. Rocco Reed looking for the second out of the inning.
What the Firebirds are doing really well are they're battling with counts, even in negative counts, and they're also making Reed throw a lot of pitches.
A full count. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Casey strikes out. It's the second strikeout of the game for Rocco Reed, and the second out for Orleans. In the top of the third, 1 on, 2 out, 2-1. Birds still in front of the Caps.
What the Firebirds want to do, and I'm sure they talked about this as well, is Brewster's bullpen has not been at their best in the last few weeks, and that's where the Firebirds have had a lot of their damage this season against the Whitecaps. It's been against their bullpen. Reed now approaching 60 pitches very quickly.
And not even 3 innings. He deals to Tuft, who swings at the first pitch and fouls it away. 0-1 to the 6'2", 195-pound rising junior. Committed to play at Tulane after 2 years at Virginia. Trying to continue to drive up the pitch count of a Clemson left-handed pitcher, Rocco Reed, making his second straight start for the Caps. 1 on, 2 out. Here's the 0-1. Fouled away again through the legs of Tuft. 0-2.
Tuft has such a compact swing and can really put charges into the ball. I didn't see the power yet until Katuat last game, where he just drove balls to left center on one hops to the wall, which Lowell Park is not exactly Red Wilson Field if we're making comparisons.
This field, 385 in center, 325 in the corners. No balls, 2 strikes. Trimble off first, 2 out. Here's the pitch. Chop foul. Down the third base side. Tuft showcased his power in the Northwoods League last year, playing for the Wisconsin Rapids Rafters. He mashed. Hit .333, 6 doubles, 3 home runs, 25 RBIs. Won the league's Big Stick Award, given to the player who has the best batting average per position. The 0-2 misses high, and he, at .333, had the highest batting average among all catchers, and arguably the best summer ball league in the country if it's not the Cape League.
Not only can he play catch, he can play anywhere else. That's what I was wondering. Where did he win the award? Because he plays everywhere.
The 1-2 misses upstairs, 2-2. Well, it's funny because I think he told you he's a primary outfielder. He told me he's a primary catcher. I think he just knows he plays everywhere.
He's a primary everything.
Everything but middle infield. But if you gave him some time, I'm sure he could do that too.
Just learn from Justin Rubin, his former teammate. He can teach anybody. He's great.
1 on, 2 out, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Ball, throw over to second. Trimble was able to slide in safe head first. It was a breaking ball and a tough play to make behind the dish for Derek Berg. Tried to throw out Fenwick Trimble. Could not on ball 3. It's now a full count to Colin Tuft.
Trimble with such a good jump as well. No chance for Berg, who couldn't even stand up and throw it, had no time.
So Trimble now in scoring position with 2 out and a full count to Tuft, who's come back from 0-2 to work the count full. Here's the pitch. On the ground, off the right side of a mound. Into the glove at second, throw to first in time. Fenwick Trimble stranded in scoring position after a 4-3 putout between Mason White and Ike Irish. And 2.5 from Stony Brook, and the score still 2-1. Orleans in front of Brewster. We'll be back in a second in the bottom of the third on the Birds Broadcast Network. Grayson Carter, in what was expected to be a bullpen game for Orleans, out after 2 innings. Only surrendered 1 run, did the right-handed pitcher from Vanderbilt. But Dylan, a bit of an unexpected option out of a bullpen for Kelly Nicholson's crew. It's the right-handed pitcher from Charleston Southern, who was slated to start tonight, but Grayson Carter was slated to start yesterday. Game against Yarmouth Dennis was rained out. As a result, Carter starts tonight, and coming out of a bullpen first in the 3rd inning is Evan Truitt.
Yes, first time out of the pen this year for Mr. Truitt. He's been really, really good this year. Last official, because we're going to say that because he pitched at Chatham on July 5th in the game that was suspended to be made up later. The last 8 official innings, no walks, only 4 hits, 3 runs, one of them being earned. I think the no walks is so big. His first start against Wareham was a little bit up and down, but ever since, Evan Truitt has been really good for this team. Let's see what he does out of the bullpen today.
Let's see. Both started and came out of a bullpen during his sophomore season at Charleston Southern, appearing in 15 games with 4 starts, a 4.6 ERA, and over 68 innings pitched. He faces the bottom man of the order, Peyton Green. And the righty deals to the lefty, and Green misses. 0-1. Green transferring to Georgia Tech after a couple seasons at NC State in ACC swap. The 0-1. Misses outside with the fastball, 1-1.
Is that Wolfpack to Yellow Jackets?
It is. Both good mascots, I'd say. 1-1 from Truitt, the new pitcher in the game, on the inside corner near the belt of Green. 1-2. Truitt just finished up his sophomore year at Charleston Southern for the 5'11", 185-pound pitcher. 1-2, misses high, 2-2. As Dylan said, his first 3 official appearances of the summer, all in starts, his first bullpen job for Orleans, and can probably provide some long relief. 2 balls, 2 strikes, he deals, and gets the whiff. Low in the zone, Green, his 26th strikeout of the summer. That leads Brewster. Mason White retired now to the bottom of the order for the Whitecaps.
Great job by Truitt. Goes right after guys. That's something that I really like and what I see out of him every single time. He loves to attack. Throw strikes, get in the zone.
And that pitch in the zone, 0-1 to Green, the third baseman. Base is clear, 1 out. No balls and a strike. 2-1 Orleans in front, bottom 3. Truitt deals. Misses low and in. And now it's even 1-1. White the strikeout to start the inning. And now Green, even in the count, a ball and a strike. Truitt working quickly. He deals. Off-speed pitch is clobbered but foul. Left field side, 1-2.
Evan Truitt actually pitched against these Whitecaps a few starts ago on a 13-2 win for the Firebirds. That game was shortened at the time because of rain. Back on June 22nd, went 5 innings, was really good. 3 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned, and 4 strikeouts, no walks.
His 1-2 is chopped fair. Jack Penny gloves it on the hop at third, throws to first a little high for Hallback. He's pulled off the bag, and reaching safely is Peyton Green. Goes down in the books as an infield single for the bottom man in the order for Jamie Shevchek's crew. It's the first hit of the game for Brewster with 1 away in the bottom of the third.
Tough play for Jack Penny, who had to come in, field a chop, and also throw out a really fast runner in Peyton Green. Good hustle by him. Pulled Hallback off the bag. The throw did.
Will Turner back to the top of the order for Brewster. 2-1. Caps down against the Birds. Bottom 3. Truitt deals to the lefty. In for a strike, 0-1. Turner walked his first time up. Much better than his last appearance against Orleans, where he was 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. He laces the 0-1 pitch right to second. Oyama thinks about the throw to second, settles for Hallback at first, retires Turner. Green moves into scoring position at second on the ground out. 2 away in the bottom of the third. It's still 2-1 Birds.
What I've noticed about Evan Truitt is he doesn't let a lot of outside circumstances really affect him on the mound. Even the Chatham game that really isn't finished yet, he hit a 2-run home run in the first inning, but got right back on the horse, started throwing strikes again. He doesn't let a lot of results or anything like defensive mistakes impact him or throw his game off.
Perfect in a lot of different situations. And now out of a bullpen tonight for Kelly Nicholson. He deals a fastball to Davis Diaz, who falls behind 0-1 as he looks at strike 1. Righty on righty. Truitt trying to work through a difficult but not impossible situation. Runner on second, 2 out. Ahead in the count, 0-1. Diaz struck out his first time up. This pitch on the ground towards Rubin at second, and he bobbles it and loses it at short. Lost it on the transfer to Justin Rubin. Going to go down in the books as an E6 and the first error for Orleans on the game. As reaching first is Diaz, and now sliding over to third is Green.
Very frustrating inning so far for the Firebirds against a really good Brewster hitting team, but they haven't gotten the ball out of the infield, and they have 2 runners on the corners with 2 outs. Unfortunate.
Truitt, like you said, has to block out the noise and the base runners with 2 on and 2 out. And now Josh Pearson out of LSU, another lefty at the plate. Here's the pitch. Low miss, gloved by Hunter. 1-0.
You have the chopper to third that Penny throws went high, and then Rubin with the error at short.
Kelly Nicholson might not let Evan Truitt work out of a jam. He makes his way to the mound, and the entire infield and catcher Henry Hunter talking with Truitt, who's recorded 2 outs, but 2 base runners have reached, 1 on an error.
I don't think this is a pitching change. I think it's just a reset for the guys in the infield. I think Truitt can give a lot of length to this team, and lefty, right, or righty, whatever. Just a little reset for the infield that after a tough defensive inning so far.
I totally agree with you, and it's a long conversation. There has been no call to the bullpen from Nicholson. He gives Truitt a little tap on the left shoulder and heads back to the dugout before home plate umpire Joseph Giacco can break up the convo.
And I think that's the right move by Coach Nicholson, because he comes out, he's going to, give everyone a little deep breath, and he knows that this type of baseball cannot continue if the Firebirds want to win this game, throwing the ball around and giving free base runners to the Brewster Whitecaps.
Base runner on third is Will Turner, or rather Peyton Green, who singled, and Davis Diaz, who reached on an error on first. First and third, 2 out, 1 ball, 1 strike. Henry Hunter gives out the signs in front of home plate and heads back behind the dish, an even count to Josh Pearson.
We'll see what Diaz wants to do over at first. If he takes second, will Hunter throw? Most likely not, with the runner on third being Green.
2-1 game. Orleans trying to keep the lead. Bottom 3. Evan Truitt deals. High up fly. Right center field. Colin Tuff says he has it. Stares up at it. Makes the catch in center. And ends the inning. Brewster leaves 2 stranded. An error hurts the Birds, but not in the score column. Birds still up 2-1 after 3. We go to the top of the 4th on the Birds Broadcast Network. Top of the 4th on the Birds Broadcast Network. A sunny 84-degree night from Stony Brook. Orleans leads 2-1. Rocco Reed on the mound for his 4th inning of work. He deals a first pitch strike to the bottom man of the order for the Birds, left-handed catcher Henry Hunter. Dylan already over 65 pitches for the pitcher from Clemson and Rocco Reed, but he's going to keep churning along. And on the 0-1, he delivers another strike, a foul tip, and Hunter behind 0-2.
Looking at the Brewster bullpen, it doesn't look like many guys are up and throwing. It gave me the thought that, of course, Henry Hunter, last guy in the order, maybe 2 times around, and they don't want the Firebirds to seat Rocco Reed a 3rd time through, but it doesn't seem like that's the case.
Reed, motionless, now sets and deals the 0-2. Misses outside, and Hunter takes ball 1. Reed only started in 2 games in the spring with Clemson. At the start of the year, he was in the mix for a weekend rotation spot, but Clemson decided to keep him in the bullpen. He was a specialist in a lot of his appearances. He pitched an inning or less as a lefty specialist, as he delivers ball 2 to Henry Hunter, who is a lefty. 11 of his 16 appearances on the year did not go a full inning. The 2-2. Misses outside, and a good at-bat from Henry Hunter. The Georgia native has gone from 0-2 to full count.
Yeah, Rocco Reed, a loogie. That's what they call him in baseball. Left-handed, one-out guy.
The 3-2 goes to right. There's no out there. It's a base hit. Henry Hunter, the bottom man of the order, delivers before Orleans his 3rd hit of the night. 2-1 Birds, top 4, and a leadoff base runner aboard.
And that'll really just lengthen out the lineup. If the catching position, if the bottom 3 in the order can really get going for the Firebirds, it makes this lineup a little bit more deadly, and now you can switch up to the top.
Top of the order, of course, occupied for the 18th game in a row by Joe Oyama, another lefty, who shows bunt and fouls it away. 0-1. Oyama came into the night leading the league, or being among the league leaders in so many stats. 2nd in batting average, tied for 4th in hits, 1st in triples. He's had 1 against Brewster. Tied for 7th in walks, which he did in the 1st inning, and 3rd in OPS. A ball and a strike. At a pitch at his chest, 1-1.
He's already reached twice tonight, too.
18 games in a row. Ever since his 2nd game with the team, Joe Oyama has reached base. He's had multiple 3-hit games against Brewster. The 1-1, swung on, missed. Oyama quietly shakes his head, knowing the mistake he made. 1-2.
Oyama had a single in Reed's outing against the Firebirds. It only went 2/3 of an inning and a 3-2 win for the Birds back on the 27th of June.
A 3-2 win. The 1-2 breaking ball hits Oyama in the head, but he's okay. Instantly shrugs off the home plate umpire, the catcher, Berg. Joey Cooper, the first base coach, checks in on him, and you can hear the applause. That's a scary sight. But thank goodness it was an off-speed pitch. Oyama takes it like a champ, takes his free bag. Henry Hunter now on second. That's the third batter that Reed has hit today. But he's going to stay on the mound.
Control has been an issue for Reed today. Like you said, 2 hit by pitches and also has walked 3.
3 walks, 3 hit by pitches, including 1 in the first inning against Jay Casey that drove in a run with the bases loaded. Another one to Fenwick Trimble in the 3rd inning. He was left stranded. Rocco Reed warms up the arm, a little break in the action. Kelly Nicholson, the manager for Orleans, had a quick word with Brewster's first baseman, Ike Irish, but he's returned to the dugout. Oyama on first after he was hit by a pitch. Henry Hunter on second. Justin Rubin shows bunt, pulls it back. 1-0.
Another situation with runners on base for the Firebirds. In the 3rd, they had a runner on. They left him stranded. In the 1st, left the bases loaded. In the 2nd, left 2 on. Now 2 runners to start the inning. If Rubin can bunt these over, it'd be big.
The 1-0, there's the bunt. It's fair, right in front of Reed. It's a great bunt, and Reed throws to first and gets the out. Rubin with good speed, but Reed plays it well, throws it to Irish. It's a sack bunt, and it does the job that Rubin needed to do. Oyama, after being hit by the pitch at second, and Hunter, after his leadoff single, leans over at third, rather.
Great job by Rubin to get that bunt down right in front of the plate. Perfect, good hustle by Rubin as well, almost beat that out. But now it's up to Jack Penny. Infield in. Can you get runs in these situations? That makes or breaks a game.
Jack Penny, rising junior from Notre Dame in an ACC battle with a Clemson pitcher also headed into his junior year. The lefty deals to the lefty and misses outside 1-0. 2 on, 1 out, 2-1 Orleans. Top 4. Both its runs scored in the top of the 1st, also off of Reed, making his 2nd start on the summer for the Whitecaps, trying to break a 3-game skid. His 1-0 pitch misses outside, also low and away, and Penny ahead 2 balls, no strikes.
Penny's very selective. He's not going to chase. If Rocco Reed wants to walk him, he'll take his walk and, like Kelly Nicholson says, pass the baton to the next guy.
Penny singled in the 1st. The 2-0 pitch is popped up and foul, high in the sky towards left field. 2-1. Penny grounded out, or I should say flew out, rather, in the 2nd inning. Trying to come up in a big spot. Right back into the left-handed batter's box with the black jersey, white lettering, red trim, and red undershirt. But 2-1. Swung on, fouled away. 2-2.
Reed is making just enough good pitches to keep him in this game. With how he's pitching, with multiple free passes in terms of walks and hit by pitches.
Reed trying to show what he can do for a great Clemson team. Had over an 8 ERA in the spring with the Tigers. 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball in the dirt, blocked up by Berg. Bit of a wild pitch. Berg does a great job to keep it in front of him, and Henry Hunter stays at 3rd. Joe Oyama at 2nd. It's a full count now to Jack Penny.
Could be a big turning point in this game. With 1 out, infield in. Can you get this ball to the outfield? Any means necessary.
Infield playing at the grass. 2 on, 1 out. Reed a ball away from loading the bases. He deals. Penny, high fly to right. It's going to die ahead of a wall. It's snagged by Josh Pearson. Henry Hunter with good speed on his horse to first. He's going to slide in head first. Throw is high. He scores. Joe Oyama takes off for 3rd. He slides in feet first. He's out. And the inning ends. It's a sac fly. And Orleans takes a bit of a bigger lead, 3-1, with a great pop-up from Jack Penny to drive in the run. But then when Henry Hunter headed home, Joe Oyama took off for 3rd and was thrown out by the catcher, Derek Berg. Orleans extends the lead 3-1 after the RBI from Penny. Brewster looks to respond in the bottom of the 4th. Back on the Birds Broadcast Network in the bottom of the fourth inning. Ian Nicholas, Dylan Pescatore on the call. Dylan, the lead grows for the Birds at the top of the frame, 3-1. Doing it in unconventional ways, a sack bunt and a sack fly. Get another run on the board.
Unconventional, but doesn't matter how you get it. You got it. Great job, and I think that inning was all set up by Justin Rubin with the bunt right in front of home plate. Got the runners over. Jack Penny with a really good at bat. Got the count full. Did his job to put it into the outfield. Gets the runner across. Another runner thrown out of the bases for the Firebirds that stopped the inning.
Derek Berg leads off for Brewster. 4-5-6-2 up for the Caps. Evan Truitt still on the mound for his second inning of work out of a bullpen. His first relief appearance for Orleans on the summer after 3 starts to start the campaign. 1-0. He deals. His fastball popped up in the infield. Towards first base, Henry Hunter calls for the ball, slides, makes the catch. In between first base and home plate, 1 away as Berg retired on 2 pitches to start the bottom of the fourth.
Henry Hunter took control there. It was in foul territory, almost on the warning track, still on the grass. No one else around. Hullback was looking at it, but it was Henry Hunter's ball the entire way. Called it off and made a good catch for the first out of the inning.
It's good to see from Hunter. A couple pass balls early in the game for the Georgia native, but making a strong defensive play there to put an out on the board. Here's the lefty, James Tibbs. Off-speed pitch misses low from Truitt, 1-0. Base is empty. 3-1 Orleans, bottom 4. A sac fly from Jack Penny in the top of the frame extended the advantage. Here's the pitch. High fly, left field. Drifting towards his right, now settling under the ball. Eddie Micheletti makes the catch above his head for out number 2. 2 batters up, 2 batters down. Both of them go down on 2 pitches against Evan Truitt.
Truitt is truly the man you want out there after you get a run. If you need a shutdown inning, Evan Truitt's going to bring it to you. He's going to throw strikes. He's going to attack hitters, and something just clicked in him after that first start against Wareham.
He deals to Brock Tibbetts, the righty, who takes the ball 1-0. And that first start gave up multiple runs, had multiple walks on the road on a rainy day from Wareham. The 1-0 pitch, in for a strike, 1-1. Ever since, he hasn't given up an earned run.
No, he's been really, really good.
Base.
Sadly, we have to head back to Wareham on Saturday.
Hopefully the weather's clear. The 1-1 pitch swung on and missed. 1-2, the long trip off the Cape. Base is empty, 2 out, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Truitt, a strike away from going 1-2-3 in the bottom of the fourth. He sets, deals to Tibbetts, and gets the whiff. Who are you going to call? Evan Truitt out of a bullpen. Throws up 2 zeros. Keeps it 3-1 Orleans after 4 against the Whitecaps in his East Division clash. We'll be back in the top of the 5th on the Birds Broadcast Network, where Dylan Pescatore takes over on the play-by-play.
We go top 5 here on the Birds Broadcast Network. 3-1 Orleans. What match is better than a low-scoring game at Stony Brook Field between the Firebirds and the Whitecaps so far? Right here, 2-0. The Firebirds are in this 2023 summer. New pitcher on the mound for Brewster is Tyler Mudd, the lefty, out of Holy Cross. His 6th appearance of the year, 4.09 ERA with the Whitecaps in 11 innings, 10 strikeouts, 11 hits, and 4 walks given up. And his first time pitching in 4 days.
It's his second year here on the Cape. The local kid committed to play at Boston College next year after a really good collegiate run at Holy Cross. Spent last year with Falmouth and started this summer with a Worcester summer ball team. He's from the Worcester area here in Massachusetts.
Matt Hallback, the first batter in this 5th inning. His 3rd time up at bat, takes the first pitch strike from the lefty Mudd. Working quickly, the 0-1 is blasted into right, but it's foul down the line. Chasing over is the right fielder in Pearson. Can't make the catch. So 0-2 to the righty Hallback. A sac bunt in the 1st. Couldn't get both runners over. Got one over in Jack Penny. And then grounded out to short. Down the line. It's a fair ball down third base. Grounding first. Going to second is Hallback. He'll make it in standing. An 0-2 double for Hallback to lead off this 5th inning for the Birds.
Really good piece of hitting from Matt Hallback down the line. We've talked a lot about him this year pulling the ball the opposite way. That time he doesn't. Down the left field line for the righty. He just runs at 100 miles an hour. He's just swinging those arms from side to side. It's like textbook at a triple earlier this year against Brewster. A double there.
Mudd looks back, fires a first pitch to Micheletti, who cranks it to right. Back goes Pearson to the track at the wall. He makes the catch over his head. Hallback will tag and go to third. Micheletti puts a charge into one, but Pearson makes the play near the fence. Gets the runner over. First out of the inning, Hallback at third.
The ball all of a sudden flying off the bat of Orleans here in the 5th inning. And these are the bats that need to come alive in the middle of this order for the Birds. Matt Hallback, Eddie Micheletti, if this offense wants to show the signs of progress it made early last week.
First pitch to Trimble, swung on and missed from Mudd. In 4 or 5 innings, the Firebirds have gotten a man either to second or third in scoring position. 0-1 to Trimble, the righty out of JMU. A long pause from Mudd as he's not on the same page as Derek Berg, the catcher for the Whitecaps. The 0-1 is fouled right at the foot of Trimble, who's done that a few times here at Stony Brook.
He has. Trimble's gotten a little unlucky from time to time. But he's also gotten a little lucky here as well. Had a home run, his first of the summer here from Stony Brook. It was a ground rule double, then it turned into a home run, which you don't see too often.
No, not at all. The 0-2 to Trimble, fouled back. It was a shot to center field, really deep. It bounced up and over the fence. James Tibbs was playing center field that day, and he went crazy when the umpires, they met right near second base. They called it a home run because he knew it bounced over the fence. Final score was 4-2 that game. 0-2 is lifted into left. Tibbs will make the catch, tagging his Hallback. Makes the catch. Hallback tagging, coming to the plate. Throw is offline. Hallback scores. Trimble with the sac fly to put the Firebirds up 4-1 here in the top of the 5th.
Second straight inning that a sac fly does the job for Orleans. You put the ball in play, good things happen, right? You know, Eddie Micheletti with a loud out to right. It allows Hallback to move to third. He doesn't score if Micheletti doesn't put a charge into that ball. And then another well-hit ball struck by Trimble, who we all know has great power.
Jake Casey, lefty, swinging first pitch, fouls it off the fencing in front of the Firebirds dugout along the first base line. And it feels like situationally the Firebirds are definitely taking a step in the right direction tonight.
They are. I mean, the last time these two teams were here.
0-1 is cut on and missed.
Last time these two teams were here, Orleans had 11 hits, only 3 runs. Tonight, 1 more run, 7 less hits. That's all that matters.
The 0-2 to Casey is low for Mudd. A leadoff double from Hallback down the left field line. Moved over to third by Micheletti Jr.'s fly out to right. That almost got out. And then a sac fly by Fenwick Trimble to left. The 1-2 is lifted into right down the line. Back goes Pearson towards the fence. It's going to get out. Jake Casey, a home run here at Stony Brook and Brewster. A solo shot puts the Firebirds up 5-1. Lifted it right down the line, and it snuck over the wall. Jake Casey, his third home run on the year, gives the Firebirds a 4-run advantage.
Jake Casey, most home runs on the Firebirds this season. And boy, did he need that one. His first game in 10 games. First game in 10 days, rather. Battling back from a little lower leg injury. And he just showcases that beautiful left-handed swing of his, which Brewster Whitecap fans from back in the day might know well.
Tuft is up 1-0 in the count, swinging second pitch, pops it up foul out of play. Casey lifted it right down the right field line. Pearson could only watch. And that's no cheapie over there. That's a long home run to right field in Brewster.
12 home runs, second most on Kent State in the spring. He's got that power.
1-1 count, another swing, another pop-up, and another foul ball out of play. Onto the small hill here in Brewster near the concession area. So 1-2, 2 outs, 2 runs in the top of the fifth for the Firebirds to extend a lead that was 3-1 to now 5-1 in favor of Orleans.
Crooked numbers in already 2 innings here today. Stringing together good hits and good timely at-bats.
Mudd has given up both. Both have been earned. 5 hits for the Birds now. 1-2 to Tuft. Inside, ball 2. Went with the curveball. Just missed a little bit inside to the righty Tuft. He's transferring to Tulane in the fall after a few years at Virginia. Mudd comes set. Shakes off Berg. 1, 2, 3 times. Now gets the sign. 2-2 pitch on its way. Cold strike 3. Mudd gets his first strikeout, but not after allowing 2 runs, including a double by Hallback, sac fly by Trimble, and then a solo shot by Jake Casey down the right field line. 2 more runs for the Firebirds in the top of the fifth. They lead 5-1 here on the Birds Broadcast Network. Back here on the Birds Broadcast Network, we go to the bottom of the fifth after a 2-spot hung by the Firebirds in the top of the frame, including a double by Matt Hallback, driven in by a sac fly by Fenwick Trimble, and then a solo shot, a home run for Jake Casey, his third on the summer, right down the right field line. 5-1 Firebirds, and Evan Truitt is right back to the mound for his third inning of work. He'll face Ike Irish, the lefty. 0 for 1 on the day is Irish, playing first base tonight. First pitch swing, up the middle, base hit into center field. The second hit on the day for the Whitecaps is off the bat of Ike Irish, a 3-hopper into center for a leadoff single.
Ike Irish had not swung the bat very well headed into tonight against Orleans. Just 1 for 11 was the star infielder from Auburn. But this guy can swing the bat. I mean, you're not freshman all SEC, and you lead an SEC team in average if you can't put the ball in play like he can.
Evan Truitt is looking to give some long relief to the Firebirds on a day before the off day tomorrow. Mason White, the batter, takes a pitch high for ball 1. Irish is on first. White coming in, hitting 191, but also has a home run off Evan Truitt this season in the 13-2 loss to the Birds back in June. The 1-0 pitch is low.
Not necessarily a home run hitter. He's had 2 here on the Cape, and 1 came off Truitt. 5 hits in his last 4 games. He's starting to heat up.
Truitt faces him, down 2-0 in the count. Kicks and deals, foul ball back to the backstop. Irish over at first, nobody out. Firebirds protecting a 5-1 lead in the bottom of the 5th. It's a gorgeous day here at Stony Brook Field. 6:27 the time on a Tuesday afternoon. Check over on Irish, who dives back. He wasn't too far off the bag anyway.
It's the weird thing about the Cape, right? You know, you've had 2 rainouts, a fog out, and then there's this. And it reminds you why you're here and why you really want to be here.
A little bit on the hotter side, 82, 83 at first pitch. 2-1 is fouled back again by White, evening the count. Nobody out, runner on first. But you can't complain. I mean, a gorgeous day. A few guys on the team get drafted. Can't write a better story.
Johnny Olmstead getting drafted, as well as Riley Fry. Big congratulations to them.
2-2 as Truitt comes set on the mound. Kicks and deals. Another foul ball back to the backstop by White. 191 batting average. 1 for 2 against Truitt. He was the first batter that Truitt faced back in the 3rd. Struck him out swinging. Looking for the same fortune right here. We'll do the 2-2 again from Truitt to White. All speed, fouled back again. White putting up a battle.
This is somebody who's gone through a lot of adversity to get here in White. He's always going to battle. I mean, he committed to Arizona in mid-July, going to his senior year. Not a big guy, just 5'9". COVID messed up his recruiting process. Doesn't matter. He's still here on the Cape.
2-2 inside. We'll do pitch number 8 between these two.
I mean, what a great season he had at Arizona. Hit .313, 18 doubles, 35 runs driven in. And for a guy of his size to slug over 600, does it all.
Full count to White. The righty against the lefty. Inside and low. What an at-bat from Mason White. Walks. First 2 in the bottom of the 5th for Brewster. Reach. Ike Irish on a single, and now a walk to Mason White.
As you said, Evan Truitt doesn't allow these kinds of things to really shake him. So Henry Hunter is going to have a word with him out on the mound. Well, pitcher to catcher. And Truitt, understand you let 2 guys on. You got 2 guys on to start the inning. You make life difficult for yourself. Truitt is going to be able to get out of this, though, if he can, because he is unflappable, and his confidence is very rarely shook.
Peyton Green out of Georgia Tech. A single back in the 3rd on a chopper to 3rd. Ike Irish on second. Mason White on first. Nobody out. Bottom 5, 5-1. Squares around a bunt. Green pushed it toward first. Hallback Fields will tag out Green as he dives toward the bag. Does his job to move the runners over. Hallback with the tag to secure the first out of the inning. Irish moves to 3rd. To 2nd is Mason White.
That was not an easy tag to make for Hallback. Had to feel that in the grass, then stretch over with his left-handed glove, use that big 6'3" frame of his. Make sure that didn't turn into a hit. A great slide from Green, head first, but could not get in there safely. Didn't need to, really, but does the job.
So 1 out, 2nd and 3rd for Brewster, and they turn their lineup up to the top. Will Turner, 0 for 1 on the day. A walk in the 1st came around to score, and then grounded out in the 3rd. First pitch from Truitt is fouled back from Turner. Out of South Alabama, hitting .253 this summer with a homer and 8 RBIs. He moved around in the 1st inning in interesting ways. Walked, moved to 2nd on a pass ball, moved to 3rd on a pass ball, and scored on a ground out. The 0-1, swing and a miss. Truitt used the fastball to push it right past him. 0-2. Gets set on the mound, looks for the sign from Henry Hunter. A strikeout would be big for the right-hander out of Charleston Southern. Up 2 strikes in the count. The pitch, swing and a miss. Big strikeout from Evan Truitt. Overpowers Will Turner for the 2nd out of the inning. on the strikeout.
Now batting, the shortstop.
That's just what Evan Truitt does.
Number 1.
You know, not everything is going to be perfect. His stuff doesn't overpower batters because of its velocity or its insane movement. But he has full confidence in his abilities. He's maxed out all the athleticism and all the arm strength that he does have. And I think he's got the best mentality probably of any pitcher on this Firebirds team. You could chuck Daniel Levidia in that conversation as well. Just the guys do what they do, and they're wired differently.
Davis Diaz, the batter, second and third, 2 outs. First pitch is a strike from Truitt on the outside corner. Diaz struck out in the first, reached on an error by the shortstop Rubin in the third. A big point in this game. Can Truitt keep it at 5-1, or does Brewster look to claw their way back? 0-1, a deep breath from Truitt. He'll kick and deal, off speed, called strike. 0-2 again, just like he did to Turner, he does to Diaz. Can Truitt finish it off? Can he get out of a jam that started with a single and a walk to start the inning? Up 5-1, bottom 5. The righty deals the 0-2 into left field for a base hit. Around comes White. Here comes Turner. A 2 RBI single for Davis Diaz. Down 0-2 in the count. Doesn't matter. Makes the score 5-3.
That's what's going to happen when you let 2 base runners reach with nobody out to start the inning. And when you're facing the top of the order for Brewster with so many good options, whether it's one of the best players in the Sun Belt and Will Turner, or one of the best players in the SEC and Davis Diaz.
2 RBI single for Diaz. Truitt got 8 outs. Seems like that will be the end of his night. Kelly Nicholson calls for the righty from the bullpen, and we'll come back with who it is when we come back here on the Birds Broadcast Network. Kelly Nicholson goes to the bullpen. And Ian, who does he bring out with the runner on first and 2 outs?
He brings out Connor Eaton, rising junior from George Mason, the Virginia native, a 6'3", 210-pound left-hander who was pitching really well for this Firebirds team. 3 straight outings of at least an inning out of a bullpen that he did not give up an earned run until July 1st at Bourne in a 6-5 loss. Eaton comes into the game in the bottom of the 8th, gives up 4 earned runs off 5 hits and 8 batters faced. And the stats are a little bit misleading. Things didn't break his way. His defense didn't necessarily help him out. Eaton has not pitched since then in a game. Did pitch in that Chatham game. That's not official on Wednesday. He's got great stuff. Can he be in control of it is a question from the left-handed side.
He faces the lefty Josh Pearson, who's 0 for 2 on the day with an RBI ground out in the first. Lefty-lefty, the matchup that Kelly Nicholson goes to. 2 outs, bottom 5 of a 5-3 game with the Firebirds in front. First pitch is low from Eaton to Pearson. On first is Diaz after he had a 2 RBI single, bringing in Ike Irish and Mason White to start the inning. That was against Evan Truitt. And the first base runner is Truitt's responsibility. Pearson goes the other way into left. Diving catch by Eddie Micheletti as he reaches out and makes the play. He's really gotten better in the outfield, has Micheletti. Makes a good catch on a line drive by Pearson. We'll go to the sixth, 5-3 Firebirds.
Welcome back to the Birds Broadcast Network. I'm Sammy Miller. The Firebirds are up 5-3 heading to the top of the sixth. Now, Firebirds manager Kelly Nicholson said coming into this game, they have to be smarter in the batter's box to start putting up more hits that can put runners in scoring positions. Coach wants them to, of course, remain aggressive, but at the same time, he wants them to think about what is going to put them on base or allow them to get an RBI any way they possibly can. At the end of the day, they need to play team baseball to get the win instead of just worrying about their individual stat line. This seems to finally be clicking, and you can tell that this mindset is proving to be successful for the Firebirds today. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Sammy. And Ian, I think what Sammy says is absolutely right. This team is really playing great team baseball today. Multiple sack bunts, sack flies. They're doing whatever they can to get runners home.
It's not easy in the Cape Cod Baseball League against some of the top pitching in the country and, you know, making the transition to wood bats. I know we're halfway through the year, so most of the guys in the batter's box understand what the effects are. But especially 3 games in a row, you need to win tonight, in my opinion, with 3 losses straight. Just manufacture runs, play unselfish. These guys really want to compete with each other and do it in a winning fashion.
Lefty Tyler Mudd against Henry Hunter, who swings first pitch, chops it to second. Mason White makes the throw to first for the first out of the inning. Mudd had a tough top of the 5th. 2 runs came across. His team matched it with 2 runs across for them. So back to even. 5-3 game. Birds in front, 1 out in the top of the 6th on the Henry Hunter ground out. Brings up Joe Oyama.
Joe's continued to find ways to reach tonight, whether he got hit by a pitch, walked to start this game.
He's swinging first pitch into right field and down in fair territory. Back goes Pearson. Oyama's going to go to second. He's going to make the turn for third. The throw to third is not in time and gets away. It will it stay in play? That's the question. No, it won't. Oyama's going to be awarded home plate. Just like Katuitt, Oyama on one swing of the bat makes it all the way around and puts the Birds up 6-3. We'll see what they officially rule that as. Probably a triple with an error on the throw, just like last game at Katuitt. But man, what an electric player Joe Oyama is, and now he gives the Firebirds a 3-run lead.
He's just sensational. He does things that I think no other player in this league can. I mean, he's got 5 triples.
Other first pitch swing off the bat of Justin Rubin. It goes foul out of play.
5 triples halfway through the year. You're not supposed to be able to do that. And then to just force defenses into such a bind, knowing that you've got some of the best speed on the diamond in this league, and force routine errors from the outfield. He's a one-man show.
Incredible. The 6th hit allows Oyama to go 360 feet all the way around. Officially scored as a triple and an error by Mason White, the second baseman. He was the relay man, throwing it to third. Peyton Green couldn't scoop it. The 1-1 to Rubin is low. It went to the fence a little bit past the Brewster dugout and officially ruled out of play, which awards Oyama home plate. 6-3 Birds. A strike to Rubin. He didn't like that call in the inside corner.
Yeah, it's exactly what he did on Sunday against Katuitt. Unfortunately, it came in a loss, but now it's a much-needed run. 3rd inning in a row, Orleans just put one on the board.
2-1 to Rubin is chopped foul, third base side. Oyama has reached in every single at-bat today. Some a little bit more, what could you say, conventional than others. A walk, reached on an error, hit by a pitch, And now a triple. He comes around to score on the error. 2-2, grounder to third. Green up with it. Throw over in time to get Ruben by half a step.
Just like a ball magnet in more ways than one.
Now batting.
He's always going to put the ball in play. You know, a stat that I liked heading into today, in 3 previous games against Brewster, yeah, I know he was 9 for 15 from the plate, which is like ridiculous, but only 1 strikeout. He's never striking out. It's always either walk, ground out, single.
Penny cuts and misses at a first pitch by Tyler Mudd. 2 outs, 1 run across for the Firebirds here in the 6th.
It's always doing something productive. Productive outs.
0-1 to Penny, cold strike. He brings something new to the ballpark every day, and it's hard to kind of put a word or a few words on what he brings, but it's something that you can't just put into words. The 0-2 held off by Penny on the pitch low in the dirt.
I mean, he's been one of the best players in the league, plain and simple. You know, Hunter Hines and Derek Bender, and then it's Joe Oyama. I think those are the 3.
1-2 is fouled back off the bat of Penny. I'm right with you, and I know Nick McLean was also thrown in there from Wareham, but watching Joe Oyama every day is truly a treat.
And he gets it done in different ways than those guys.
Do the 1-2 from Mudd to Penny again. Outside, just off the outside corner. Penny stays alive. A sac fly back in the 4th for Penny. That drove in Henry Hunter from third base. The 2-2 is fouled first base side on the ground.
And Oyama's just continued to get it done against Brewster, too. I mean, 2 games with at least 3 hits against the Whitecaps this season. And a couple of really great at-bats tonight to help his team in big spots.
2-2, 2 outs, pulled first base. Ike Irish is up with it. Thought about tossing, goes to first, just in time. His foot touched first base a millisecond before Penny's. He thought about tossing it to Mudd, thought better of it, and touched first base himself just in time. The score now 6-3 Firebirds after they put up 1 in the top of the 6th. Let's go bottom 6, 6-3 Birds. We go bottom 6, 6-3 Firebirds. A lot of runs, not in pretty waves. Connor Eaton is back to the mound after getting the last out of the 5th against Josh Pearson. He'll face Derek Berg, the catcher. Fires a first pitch strike inside and low to the right-hander out of Army West Point. Like Ian said, his last day is today, where he has to head back for training. The 0-1 from Eaton, a little bit too far inside, evens the count 1-1. Another run for the Firebirds in the top of the 6th on a Joe Oyama triple, and then awarded home after the ball went out of play on the error by Mason White. 1-1 from Eaton is low, picked by Hunter. 2-1 to the righty Berg. Doing the catching today. 0 for 2, a strikeout, and a fly out in foul territory.
They're going to miss him. He was great. 4 of 15, 3 runs driven in his first and final 5 games with the team.
2-1. Pops this one into right center field. It's down for a base hit. Over goes Tough to cut it off. Berg's going to try for second. The throw, not in time. A leadoff double in the 6th for Derek Berg. As Brewster looks to respond, down 3 in the 6th. Defensive change for the Firebirds. Justin Rubin is out of the game. Drew Farrow is in. No injury, no reason to worry. Just another one of Kelly Nicholson's substitutions to get everyone playing time. And Drew Farrow takes over at shortstop.
Trying to improve defensively as Farrow did make an error on Sunday against Katuitt. The bat's gotten very hot for him as of late from the plate.
Eaton against Tibbs, who grounds it foul. First base line, down the line. So Berg heads back to second. He was off on the play.
Now, Tibbs, somebody who's just been so important, not only in left field, but a key cog in this order. And just a sophomore, he's going to be here when the season ends for Brewster, and they're going to need him to be productive.
Runner on second, 0-1 is outside. Connor Eaton has seen these Whitecaps before, back on June 22nd in that blowout game we mentioned, and it might have been his best outing of the year. 2 innings, 2 walks, and 5 strikeouts. 5 of 6 coming by the K. He was nasty that night. 1-1, no out. Runner on second is Berg. Called strike on a fastball down the middle by Eaton.
Eaton did have an up-and-down sophomore season with George Mason, but it was really his first collegiate season. Missing the entirety of his freshman year last spring with Tommy John. And he's got electric stuff, but he's still learning how to use it, how to harness it. And some nights, you get that. Tonight, it's been good, too.
Berg on second. The 1-2 to Tibbs is way high. That's the issue with Eaton and Carter when we're mentioning things they're working on. Talked about Grayson Carter, the starting pitcher for the Firebirds tonight. They have the tools. They have the velocity. Can they control it in the strike zone?
47 strikeouts and just 42 innings pitched in the spring.
2-2 on the ground to short. First play for Farrow. Throw over is low. Picked by Hallback. Moving to third is Berg. First out of the inning is a ground out to shortstop. Brewster 90 feet away from bringing a run home. And it's up to Brock Tibbetts with 1 out.
At first base is a tough position to play. And Matt Hallback's fielding percentage numbers during 2 years at UC San Diego, not fantastic. It was around like 900 this past spring. But he's played a great first base whenever he's been out there for Orleans.
Lefty and after against the righty Tibbetts, who fouls when first base side out of play. The righty was up there in every offensive statistic in the Big Ten. He led an Indiana offense, being their 3-hitter every single night. Trying to drive in this runner from third. Berg is the runner. 1 out, 0-1. A strike at the bottom of the zone. Quickly 0-2 against Tibbetts. Came in, hitting .303. No homers yet for a guy who tore up the Big Ten this year. 0-2 the count, 1 out. The pitch is checked foul. A check swing by Tibbetts on a high fastball.
It's tough to hit home runs in this league. You know, Hunter Hines has 8 of them and by far and away leads the league. But he leads his team in average. That's the important part. Hitting over 300 on the season for Jamie Shevchek's crew. The big hits will come.
0-2, high. No check swing on that one. Makes the count 1-2. 1 out. Firebirds up 6-3 here at Stony Brook Elementary. In Brewster, 6 hits for the Birds, 4 hits for the Whitecaps, 1 error for Orleans, and 2 for Brewster. Bottom 6, Birds up 3. Tibbetts flies it to right. Trimble will make the catch. Berg is off of third. The throw from Trimble is a good one, but not in time. Berg comes in to score on the sac fly, makes the score 6-4.
That is a big hit. Doesn't get over the wall, but just continues to come up in a big spot for this team. One of the most consistent players in all of college baseball. Someone who, you know, in over 100 games, 116, is reached safely in 102. I know it isn't reached there, but you drive in a run, and you keep this a manageable game.
It's been back and forth ever since the top of the 4th. 2 outs, bases empty. Ike Irish takes the ball high from the lefty Eaton. Inning started with a leadoff double from Berg, moved to third on the ground out to short by Tibbs, and then the sac fly that we just saw from Brock Tibbetts. Trying to bunt his Irish. He offered at the pitch, called the strike. Couldn't pull the bat back on the fastball high in the zone. Would have been called the ball, but bat went across home plate. So 1-1 the count, 2 outs, bases empty of a 2-run game. The 1-1 fouled right back. Off Hunter, off the umpire. Everyone's all right. The Shade starting to move in across the infield. Shade at third, Shade at the plate, Shade on the mound, and approaching shortstop very quickly. Drew Farreau playing on the outfield grass and now stepping onto the dirt. Playing deep in the hole. 1-2, 2 outs to Irish from Eaton. Kicks and deals from the left side, fastball's high.
Irish with a single his last time up. Just his second hit in 4 games this year against Orleans. Against everybody else, he's been pretty good, hovering around 250.
2-2. There is another hit over the glove of Farreau into left center field. Off the fists, over the shortstop's head. Tuft will field it. A single with 2 outs here in the 6th for Ike Irish.
Somebody who, Auburn's own head coach, Butch Thompson, said just has a great evaluation of the strike zone. Eaton still trying to find the zone, and Kelly Nicholson now has a word with him and takes the ball from him.
So lefty and end of the line for him. Kelly Nicholson will be going to another arm out of the bullpen. We'll tell you who it is when we come back. Bottom 6, 6-4 Firebirds. Bottom 6 here on the Birds Broadcast Network. New pitcher for the Firebirds. And Ian, who is it?
It's Jonathan Gonzalez, left-hander from Stetson. Just finished up his junior season. Knows how to deliver results out of a bullpen. In 4 of his 5 appearances this summer, he's pitched at least 2 innings. His latest got the win last Monday against Hyannis in an 8-6 victory for the Birds. Pitched 2 scoreless innings with 2 strikeouts, walked 1, gave up 3 hits. Didn't matter. He knows how to work through traffic.
Has a little bit of traffic on base right now. Ike Irish, a single against Connor Eaton with 2 outs. Mason White is the batter. It's a lefty-lefty matchup between Gonzalez and White. Last time up, Mason White walked and then was driven in on the RBI single by Davis Diaz in the 5th. He struck out against Evan Truitt in the 3rd. His 3rd at-bat is right now a ball low by Jonathan Gonzalez. His 6th appearance for the Firebirds this year, a 1.58 ERA in 11 1/3 innings pitched with 14 strikeouts. Irish is off first. Gonzalez stares him down. The 0-1 to White is fouled back. A really impressive at-bat in the 5th against Evan Truitt. Fell behind 0-2 and worked a walk on an 8-pitch at-bat.
He flipped the bat after it, too. He knew how good it was.
1-1. Off speed, fouled back by White again. Down 1-2. Gonzalez in to get the lefty out and maybe even pitch a little bit longer. Like you said, Ian, he can give a little bit of relief in terms of length.
Started a lot for Stetson in the spring.
1-2. White pops it foul, third baseline. And out of play, Micheletti couldn't reach it without going out of bounds. So we stay 1-2. White, who has proven to be not an easy out tonight.
He started 7 games in the spring, 17 over 3 years with the Hatters. Over 150 innings under his belt at the collegiate level.
Checks over at first. The 1-2 is low. This inning started with a double by Derek Berg. Moved to third on a Tibbs ground out. Sac fly by Tibbetts drove him in for the 4th run for Brewster. Another foul ball, this time right field side out of play by White. Keeps the count 2-2, 2 outs. Runner on first is Irish. He singled against Eaton. That was his last batter. Gonzalez in to put out the fire in the 6th. Count still 2-2. 2 outs. The pitch, swing and a miss. Got him in front with the off speed. Gonzalez gets out of the 6th and will bring us to the 7th. 6-4 Birds as we go to the final 3. Back on the Birds Broadcast Network, top 7, 6-4 Orleans. Tyler Mudd back to the mound against Matt Hallback. But Ian, before we get to what's going on the field, what's going on around the Cape on different fields?
Well, at Retta Wilson Field, in the top of the 8th, the 2 best teams in the East going at it. YD leads Harwich 4-2. Meanwhile, some West Division battles. Katuitt tied with Hyannis at 1 apiece in the bottom of the 3rd from McKeon Park. And Falmouth leads Wareham 4-1, also in the bottom of the 3rd from Spillane Field.
Falmouth going off the Cape looking for a win. Hallback, another line drive down the left field line, but foul. Count 1-1 after a first pitch ball from Mudd. He's in his 3rd inning of work. He's gone 3 innings this year, and he's a strike thrower. 26 strikes of 34 pitches. The 1-1 to the righty Hallback, cut on and missed. Hallback doubled in the 5th, bunted for an out in the 1st, and grounded out in the 2nd. Down 1-2 in the count. Ground ball is short. Up with it is Diaz. The throw across is in time to get him. It's the first out in the 7th. It'll be a pinch hitter for the Firebirds in place of Eddie Micheletti Jr. It's another junior named Eddie. Eddie King Jr. comes up in the 7th as a replacement, making sure everything's all good with the home plate umpire out of Louisville.
Eddie King is one of the most exciting players on this team to watch. Although the batting average still a little bit low for King, under 200 on the year. Leads Orleans in a lot of categories, including stolen bases and runs scored.
First pitch strike on the outside corner to King, the righty, against the lefty Mudd. The 0-1 is fouled back. He does bring a lot, maybe not when it comes to the batter's box right now. I know he has a lot of potential, but he brings a lot on the bases and defensively.
Oh, he's, I think, the best center fielder on this team defensively.
The 0-2 from Mudd, outside, just off the black.
You know, Austin Overn had that spot locked up at the start of the year, but ever since he left for the USA baseball training camp, it's been a rotation.
1-2, just a little bit high.
You
Here
know,
are the numbers on the Orleans uniform by King.
yeah, whether it's been KC or now Colin Tuft, I think Eddie King is proven he is the guy out there.
2-2, fouled back. Takes place of Eddie Micheletti Jr., who is playing left. We'll see if Tuft stays in center or King goes to left, or the rotation when we get to the bottom of the inning. 1 out, bases clear, 6-4 Firebirds, top 7. 2-2, it hits Eddie King in the front leg. Right under the knee, in the calf area. On his left leg, above the ankle guard. He stayed there for a few seconds, is shaking out the leg. Seems to be all right. And with 1 out, Eddie King will reach first base on the hit by pitch.
That is a lot of free passes handed out today by Brewster. A 4th or 5th hit by pitch. 4th officially. One that drove in a run to start this game. Jake Casey had to wear it.
Here's another guy who got hit by a pitch, Fenwick Trimble.
Fenwick Trimble is just, you can't expect to win these tight games when you're handing out free passes, especially hit by pitches.
Eddie King on first, has a lot of speed. Up 1-0 in the count is Trimble against the lefty Mudd, who fires a strike at the bottom of the zone with the fastball. 6 hits for the Firebirds, but like Ian said, a lot more base runners than hits when it comes to how many times they've walked tonight and also been hit by a pitch. 1-1 the count even, 1 out. King off first. Popped up, foul territory. Giving it a look as the first baseman Irish near the fence. And he can't make the play, it goes out of play. So 1-2 after the foul ball. Trimble gets the sign from third base coach Max Fesky. Trimble tonight, an RBI, a walk in the first, a hit by pitch in the third, and he also stole a base, and a sac fly, which also brought in a run in the fifth. So 2 RBIs on the night for Fenwick. 1-2 is low, no chase from the righty out of JMU.
Well, Trimble is, I think, one of the X factors in this lineup on any given night, because when he's on, he's got extra base hit power, home run hitting power. He makes great contact.
2-2 is low. He lines it right to second base. Throw to first in time. Double play. Mason White makes the catch. Throws it to first for 2. Unlucky for Trimble, but Brewster gets out of the inning, throwing up a 0 on the scoreboard. Let's stretch here in Brewster. 6-4 Birds. We've stretched. We're ready to go in the bottom of the 7th. Jonathan Gonzalez back to the mound for the Firebirds, protecting a 6-4 lead, and faces Peyton Green, the 9-hitter for Brewster. 1 for 1 on the day, a sac bunt in the 5th and a single in the 3rd is Green. Takes a second pitch, ball low. Now 2-0 against the lefty Gonzalez. We'll see how the Firebirds want to piece together these last 9 outs, protecting That 6-4 lead now 3-0 to the righty.
Gonzalez can give you one, maybe even two more innings out of a bullpen and still be on his A game.
3-0 to the 9-hitter. Strike at the bottom of the zone. Can give you that length, but how much of that length will be efficient and with, of course, playing the matchup game. The 3-1 on the ground to short. Drew Farreau fields it cleanly. Throw over in time. First out of the inning recorded by the shortstop in the 7th.
That's huge because you never want to hand out free passes, but you never want to hand them out to guys in the back half of the order, especially the 9-hitter. Now you, instead of having one on, nobody out, firing a couple strikes, bases empty, one out.
Back to the top of the order, Will Turner takes a strike, the lefty. The matchup works for Kelly Nicholson. He's got a lot of big arms in that bullpen to protect this lead and try to break the 3-game skid the Firebirds are on. Ball is low, 1-1 with one out, bases empty, 6-4 Orleans, bottom 7. Gonzalez from the left side, kicks and deals off speed, line foul, first base side, and out of play.
It's a super well-rested bullpen when you consider yesterday's game against Yarmouth Dennis was rained out. And on Sunday, only one person came out of a bullpen, and it was Danny Carrion.
1-2 off the fist into center field for a base hit. The lefty Turner, the leadoff man in this order for the Whitecaps, gets a one-out single. Might have broke his bat in the process. He'll take it as he stands on first base.
Both teams with 6 hits tonight now. Will Turner on base for his second time, his first hit. He's been getting it done all season long. Out of South Alabama, one of the best players in the Sun Belt.
Davis Diaz takes an all-speed pitch for a ball. Had a big 2 RBI single in the 5th. That cut the lead from 5-1 to 5-3 at the time. Comes up as the tying run, bottom 7. One runner on, and Turner and lines one to center. It's back to the wall, goes Tuft at the wall, he jumps, he makes the catch! A robbery! Colin Tuft just saved it! Made his way back on the shot to center, leaped at his peak, and made the catch to save a game-tying home run from Davis Diaz. Wow.
I just want to know where Tuft hid the pogo stick. That's unbelievable. A feat of athleticism. He got unbelievable air. Maybe he heard my praise of Eddie King Jr. out in center field this season and said,
first pitch swing is the lefty. Farreau up with it to second for the third out. Great defense by the Firebirds. Colin Tuft saves the lead. Drew Farreau on the backhand, a second for the force out to force out Turner for the third out. The bottom of the second was defensive web gems for Orleans. We go to the top of the 8th, 6-4 Firebirds. After an incredible inning of defense from the Firebirds, they keep the game at 6-4 in favor of Orleans. Tyler Mudd is back out for a 4th inning of work, and he will face Jake Casey, who took him deep last time up in the 5th to right field.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting decision. Mudd has given his team a lot of good relief appearances as Casey takes the ball. I mean, 4 of his 5 appearances headed into tonight had won at least multiple innings. He only pitched 2 innings this past spring.
1-0 is fouled back.
You know, he pitched 6 innings at Holy Cross in the spring. He's primarily an outfielder. So it's kind of stunning that he's back out here for a 4th inning of work, but hey, he's getting it done.
The 1-1 is a little bit low to Casey. Mudd came in and immediately gave up 2 runs in the 5th. Gave up the triple to Oyama. He scored on the error in the 6th. The 7th was clean. 2-1, fastball in for a strike to Casey, the lefty. 1 for 2 on the day, a homer, a strikeout, and a hit by pitch, which drove in a run, an RBI. 2 RBIs on the day for Casey. 2-2, swing and a miss. Strikeout from Mudd to start out the top of the 8th with the first out.
Casey with his 2nd strikeout of the game. He's shown you some of the great tonight with that home run to right in the 5th inning. The strikeouts have been a bit of an issue all summer long. Also drove in a run earlier this game when he was hit by pitch with the bases loaded. But a much-needed strikeout from Mudd to start the inning.
Will now face Colin Tuft. Takes the first pitch strike. Tuft 0 for 3 on the day, but he's got to get something for that incredible catch in center field. He might have brought back a game-tying home run. Runner on first. Davis Diaz launched it. Takes a 0-1 pitch high for a ball. Does Tuft. Leaped up and made the catch on the warning track. 1-1 outside for a ball. Could be up there with some of the best plays we've seen defensively for Orleans this season, Ian.
You know, play that the Bourne Braves made ended up on SportsCenter a few nights ago from Kendall Diggs, and deservingly so.
2-1, big cut and a miss by Tuft.
I know we don't have the video broadcast tonight. It would be up to the Brewster Whitecaps crew to send that one in, which I don't think they would. But if they did, I think it would have a decent shot because that was a beautiful play in center field. And I'd agree. I think it's the best play defensively this team's made all season long. Most impactful, too.
100%. 2-2, 1 out, bases empty. Tuft lines it into right center field, but right at the center fielder Turner, who ranges over and makes the catch. Quickly 2 outs in the top of the 8th for the Firebirds on a strikeout and a flyout. It brings up the catcher, Henry Hunter.
He's hitting the ball well. Hasn't been the best game from Colin Tuft at the plate. He struck out looking twice. He's grounded out at the flyout. It's a well-hit ball, though. And I feel like as the season comes on, if he's going to continue to be a part of this team, it's only going to be a matter of time until he's getting it done consistently, time in and time again from the plate.
The lefty Mudd fires a first pitch strike on the inside corner to Henry Hunter, the lefty catcher. Hunter with 2 ground outs to second, swings and misses at the 0-1. And a single. He also came around to score. Was driven in by a sac fly by Jack Penny in the 4th. 0-2, 2 outs, bases empty. Birds up 6-4. Here at Stony Brook and Brewster. The 0-2 is low for Mudd. He's gotten 10 outs, 3 2/3. This will be pitch number 61 from the lefty. It's low, 2-2 to Hunter, who sent one out of here this year. Back at home against Wareham. The 2-2, bottom of the zone, a little bit lower. Runs the count full.
It's a good at bat. A lot of times today, Orleans has been down 0-2 in the count and has let the pitcher do the rest of the work for them.
The full count pitch. Hunter puts a charge into one to right. Back goes the right fielder Pearson towards the line, and he makes the catch. In fair territory, Pearson on the run. Makes the catch for the 3rd out of the inning. Mudd goes 1, 2, 3 in the 8th. Let's go bottom 8 here on the Birds Broadcast Network. Birds up 2. A rare 0 thrown up in the scoreboard in the 7th for both frames. We go to the bottom of the 8th. 6-4 Firebirds, a close game once again in Brewster between the Firebirds and the Whitecaps. The winner will take possession of 3rd place in the East Division here on July 11th. Jonathan Gonzalez back on the mound for Orleans will face Derek Berg, the catcher. First pitch is a strike on the inside corner to the righty. A strikeout, a fly out in foul territory, and a double back in the 6th, which scored the 4th run for Brewster. 0-1, just a little bit low. Hunter looked to bring it back up. He couldn't get the call. The lefty Gonzalez will face the righty Berg. The lefty Tibbs on deck. 1-1, cut on and missed. Pulled the string with the changeup. See how manager Kelly Nicholson wants to mix and match for the final 6 outs. 1-2 pitch, cut on and missed. A strikeout from Gonzalez, his 2nd, and the 1st out here in the 8th against Berg.
Gonzalez sets the tone here in the 8th inning, continuing to make a statement out of a bullpen. You know, he's had some issues navigating through traffic over these last few appearances, but over these last 2 innings, he's been very efficient.
Only 23 pitches. Pitch number 24 is low to the lefty Tibbs. He's 0 for 3 today. A rare sight against the Firebirds. Been so good against this team. 1-0, called strike with the fastball in the outside corner. 1 out, base is empty. 6-4 Orleans. The score. 1-1 is a line drive to center, down for a single. Fielded by Colin Tuft. A strong line drive hit for James Tibbs. A 1-out single here in the 8th.
It was only a matter of time until Tibbs got things going. Had a slow start to this summer, but he was such a productive player in college. I think we all figured he'd turn things around eventually, and he has. Over his last 11, headed into tonight, 12 for 38, with only 9 strikeouts and 7 walks, and a great hit late in this game.
Tibbetts, the batter, takes the first pitch ball low. Has a lot of power in his bat. However, no home runs yet this summer. Tibbs is off first. Similar situation to last inning where Turner was off first and Davis Diaz put a charge in a ball to center. Tibbetts into the hole. Farrow to second. What a play on the first, not in time. Oh, man, Drew Farrow is showing out at short tonight. On the backhand in the hole. Throws it to second. Oyama secures the out for the fielder's choice to get the 2nd out of the inning. Wow.
Drew Farrow has made a couple plays tonight that he has not made this season, and this is going to be, in my mind, huge for his confidence defensively. You know, he's been making a lot of errors, and he'd probably tell you that. I mean, you could see it, but 2 fantastic plays tonight to rob hits.
First pitch at the top of the zone to Irish, the lefty from Gonzalez, is a strike. So Tibbetts is now at first. Forced out at second was James Tibbs. Very similar. 2 outs. 0-1. Cold strike again. Gonzalez not only pitching well, but getting a little bit of help from his defense. Tuft and Farrow in the 7th, and Drew Farrow again here in the 8th. 0-2. 2 outs. Guarding a 2-run lead. Pitch is low. Runner on first. The tying run is at the plate in Ike Irish, who's 2 for 3 on the day with 2 singles. And also came around to score in the 5th. The 1-2 from Gonzalez is low, and Irish holds up.
Irish has been hot with singles in his last 2 plate appearances. Trying to battle back in a 2-strike count.
Tibbetts with a step off first as his lead. The 2-2 pitch, a fastball that's fouled back. The Firebirds desperately holding on to this 2-run lead in the later innings against Brewster. 7 hits for the Whitecaps, 6 for the Firebirds. Ike Irish, 2-2 the count against Gonzalez. Flowing away, ball 3 runs the count full, which means Tibbetts is off and running on the pitch. Can the lefty out of Stetson finish off the 8th and keep the score where it is? He'll look at first. He'll fire towards the plate. Didn't get the call. A little bit low. Ball 4, and what an at-bat from Irish Down 1-2, gets the walk, and that is a meeting from Kelly Nicholson. A strikeout of Berg to start the inning, single by Tibbs, fielder's choice out of Tibbetts. Tibbetts will move to second on the walk, to first is Irish. He gets the free pass, the end of the day for Gonzalez. And who's coming out of the bullpen but Derek Clark, another lefty. We'll see if he can finish up this inning and keep the lead for the Firebirds when we come right back on the Birds Broadcast Network. Let's give you the situation. 6-4 Firebirds in front in terms of the score. It's bottom 8. Brewster is threatening. Runner on second, Brock Tibbetts. Runner on first, Ike Irish. Tibbetts reached on a fielder's choice. Ike Irish walked against Jonathan Gonzalez. New pitcher for the Firebirds is Derek Clark, the lefty, the new West Virginia Mountaineer, committed a few days ago. Last pitched 4 innings in relief against Falmouth on July 8th. 4 innings, 2 hits, no runs, no walks, 4 strikeouts. He'll face Mason White, who's 0 for 2 on the day, a walk and 2 strikeouts. White with 2 home runs on the summer. He'll face the lefty Clark. He's been so reliable out of the bullpen for the Firebirds. The first pitch to White, who squared around a bunt. He takes a strike. An interesting decision, looking, of course, to bunt for a hit with 2 outs. Penny is a little bit deeper than even with the bag. Hallback's not even holding the runner on first, Irish, on. Clark deals the 0-1, fouled back by White, who has no doubt been the hardest guy to get out so far in this order tonight for the Brewster Whitecaps.
He's been one of the hotter bats in the lineup headed into tonight. He only hit 191 on the season, but 5 hits in his last 4 games and over a 300 hitter out of the Pac-12. He's been putting up a fight whoever he bat, although he doesn't have a hit.
Can Clark get him to go? 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss. Derek Clark comes in and gets the 3rd out of the inning to get the Firebirds out of the jam. He's pumped up, only took 3 pitches for the strikeout of Mason White. Let's go to the 9th, 6-4 Orleans. Back on the Birds Broadcast Network, a big strikeout from Derek Clark to get out of 2 on, 2 out. Brewster was threatening. They didn't threaten enough. 6-4 Orleans in front as we go top 9. And a new pitcher for the Whitecaps, and it's a righty out of where?
Chatham,
Chatham. It's from the Cape Cod?
New Jersey.
Oh,
Chatham, New Jersey. Now he plays at Rutgers, also in the Garden State. 6'2", 205-pound righty. Actually had his worst appearance of the summer against Orleans. He was tagged with a loss in the 3-2 loss that Brewster had against the Birds on the 27th. Gave up 2 runs.
first pitch is a strike to Joe Oyama, the lefty leadoff hitter, who has gotten on base every single at-bat today in all 4.
Gave up 2 runs, only got 4 outs. Gave up 3 hits and walked 1.
0-1 is high.
Outside of that, though, he's been pretty good. Only giving up 2 runs in all of his other 6 1/3 this summer. All out of a bullpen for Jamie Shevchuk's team.
The 1-1 is high against Oyama.
Oyama's having another fantastic night with another almost inside the park home run situation. The one-man wrecking crew. Can he come up big one more time?
Gorski, the righty, fires off speed, a little bit high to Oyama, 3-1. He came into that game, it was a tie game, 1-1. Oyama got on base. Matt Holback hit a triple to left center, and the center fielder couldn't make the catch. Came around to score. 3-1, swung on and missed.
And that's the one stat that Orleans leads the league in by far. It's not pitching, it's not hitting, it's not wins or losses, it's triples. Joe Oyama, a big reason why, but Matt Holback also showing he's got some speed along the base paths.
Full count pitch from Gorski is pulled. First base side, Irish up with it, and tags first before Oyama does for the first out of the inning. Brings up a guy who's getting his first at-bat of the night, Drew Farreau. Came in as a defensive replacement in the 7th inning, taking over Justin Rubin's spot in the order. So Farreau, his first at-bat of the night from the left side, the switch hitter against the righty Gorski. First pitch from Gorski is inside to Farreau, who has made a few really good defensive plays tonight. A fielder's choice in the 7th, another one in the 8th. 1-0 is low, 2-0 to Farreau, whose average has climbed up to 250 on the summer. No homers and 2 RBIs.
He's 4 for his last 10, a hit in each of the last 3 games.
2-0 is high. And Ian, what are you seeing differently from him? Personally, I see that he's being much more selective at the plate.
I mean, the strikeout numbers are way down. 10 strikeouts on the year, and none of them have come in his last 5 games. Longer at bats.
3-0 count. He'll take a 4-pitch walk as it goes low. A base runner for the Firebirds as they look to add on an insurance run here in the top of the 9th. Throw with a 1-out walk.
Now batting the third baseman from Notre Dame.
Brings up Jack Penny, the lefty. He's had a few big games here in Brewster. He comes up here in the top of the 9th. 1 out, Farreau on first. Has some speed. Penny with a single in the first. Came around to score and a sac fly in the 4th. First pitch gets away from Berg, and the second goes Farreau. So a walk and a wild pitch allows Orleans to get a runner in scoring position with 1 out for Jack Penny.
While Derek Clark's got the trust of a ton of people in this Orleans organization and fan base in the bottom of the 9th with a 2-run lead, Jack Penny has the opportunity to provide potentially a knockout punch here with 1 out.
The 1-0 is fouled back. You can trust the guy as much as you want. You can also still like insurance runs.
It is what it is. You know, and I'm sure Derek Clark would like that run too, just so that he could go out and really trust his stuff and realize that his team supported him in the top of the inning and he'll have their back in the bottom of the frame.
Gorski against Penny. Count even at 1-1. Farreau off second with 1 out. The pitch is low. 2-1 now to the lefty Penny. He's had another big game tonight. A hit. Moving runners over. Getting runners in. Looking to get another runner in. Orleans up 6-4.
Gorski's got to get a pitch in the strike zone.
That one hits Penny. Another hit by pitch. That's number 5 tonight. Penny will take first. Farreau at second. What can you say?
If you hand out 5 walks in a game as a pitching staff, you probably need to do a little bit of a better job of limiting free passes. You hand out 5 hit by pitches in a game, not only is it an anomaly, you can't expect to win. Orleans has to capitalize.
4 walks, 5 hit by pitches, 9 free passes for the Brewster pitching staff tonight. 1 out. Matt Hallback, the batter, takes low. Berg blocks it up low. Throw on second. On first is Jack Penny. 1 out. Orleans up 6-4. Gorski looks in for a long time against Berg. He'll come set at the belt. He can deal the 1-0. It's high.
And talk about somebody who's being, so great from the plate with his discipline and is not going to expand his zone. Why would he? Gorski's thrown, 1 strike in the last 3 at-bats? Take the pitches until the strikes come in.
4 strikes and 16 pitches. Number 17, another ball. 3-0 against Hallback. Brewster really needs to keep this game at 6-4. And Gorski is not helping that cause. Eddie King Jr. is on deck. Hallback 1 ball away from loading the bases. Pitch is high. 4-pitch walk once again. A 4-pitch walk to Farrow. A hit by pitch against Jack Penny. A 4-pitch walk to Matt Hallback. Brings up Eddie King Jr. Bases loaded, 1 out for Orleans in the top of the 9th.
You really do have to praise the mentality that the Firebirds team has adopted this season. Now, all these guys are out here to show what they can do from the plate, prove they can hit the baseball hard and far and this and that. But they want to win the game. And they want to make the smart decisions. Each of the last 3 guys, I know Jack Penny was hit by a pitch, have been unselfish.
First pitch from Gorski to Eddie King is a little bit low. King, who came in the 7th as the defensive replacement for Eddie Micheletti Jr., was also hit by a pitch. 1 of the 5 tonight, and now 5 walks for Brewster as well. 1-0, bases loaded, 1 out. Pitch is fouled back by King on a high fastball.
Lots of bumps and bruises. Matt Hallback and Jake Casey, who I think have probably been hit a combined double-digit times by pitches together this summer, can tell you that.
Now 10 for 5 for Casey, 5 for Hallback.
I'm good at math.
For a record that no one wants.
Not really.
Count is 1-1. 1 out. Pitch to King. Line drive into left field for a base hit. In comes Farrow. The second runner on third is Penny. He'll stop right there. RBI single for Eddie King Jr., his 3rd RBI of the summer, and it's a big one to put the Firebirds up 7-4.
What a big-time hit for Eddie King. Just pass the baton until somebody is ready to come up in a big spot and showcase their skills. And the base is still loaded with 1 out. Not only do you give yourself some cushion, but Trimble, with such great power in the middle of this order, comes up to the plate.
Clean count. First pitch swing is Trimble. Fly ball in the left. Back goes the left fielder Tibbs at the track. He'll stop. He'll look. He'll make the catch. Penny tags home. Throw goes into third. And a sac fly for Fenwick Trimble. Makes the score 8-4 Orleans. Trimble's had an interesting day. A walk to drive and a run in the first. A hit by pitch in the 3rd. A sac fly in the 5th. And now another sac fly in the 9th. His 3rd RBI in the day. And none of them have come off hits.
This inning has reminded me a lot of that first inning, where you feel like Orleans could have had a little bit more. Didn't really get it. But now I feel like Orleans is capitalizing on the opportunity better.
First pitch to Jake Casey is high. He's got a home run tonight. Also got hit by a pitch. 2 already in the 9th for Orleans, who leads 8-4 against Brewster. On second is Hallback. On first is Eddie King Jr. 0-1, now 0-2 to Casey. The first pitch was appealed to third, and he went around. So quickly 0-2 against Gorski. Another rough outing for the righty out of Rutgers against the Firebirds this year. Check that 1-1. Casey flies it right field side. Back goes Pearson, but this one does go foul.
Both teams with 7 hits tonight. One with twice as many runs as the other. I think at the end of the day, you have to attribute a lot of that, unfortunately, for Brewster to the pitching and how Orleans has been able to clog the base paths with all the missed passes.
1-2, fouled back. I mean, you said it, Ian. They've had 7 hits tonight, and they've gotten 10 more free passes, 5 hit by pitches, 5 walks.
It's funny. It's hard. I think it's hard to lose a game like that. You know, Orleans needed to catch a few breaks. They ran into a couple really good pitching performances back to back to back. Tonight, the beneficiary of some weaker pitching.
1-2 is low at the curveball. Casey takes.
I mean, I go back to that game at Harwich on Friday. Josh Bostic looked like a superhuman. 2 days later, he gets drafted into the MLB. Yeah, that's the kind of thing in the Cape League. You're going to run into stars, and they're going to shut you down, and it is what it is.
The 2-2, fastball is high. Casey holds up. Runs the count full. Ian, I mean, we were checking the MLB draft tracker today, and it seemed like every other player were starting pitchers against the Firebirds this year. Nick Judas got drafted to the Yankees. Josh Bostic, and a lot more.
And deservingly so. That's why they're here.
3-2, 2 outs. Casey fouls it out of play. So Hallback and Eddie King, who are on the move with the full count 2-out pitch, will head back. And we'll do it again.
A good at bat from Casey. Again, playing his first game in 10 days since being hit by a pitch in that road game against Bourne. It hasn't been perfect, but he's already come up in 2 big spots to drive in runs.
Looking to do it a little bit more. Break this game open for real. 3-2, another hit by pitch. And another one in the leg of Casey. 6 hit by pitches for the Brewster pitching staff today. It loads the bases in the top of the 9th right here. Colin Tuft will be the batter.
Jake Casey's just smiling with Joey Cooper at first base, and I give him a lot of credit. With how many times he's been hit by a pitch this year, I'm sure he's boiling. I mean, you reach base, but you're angry, too. Twice in one game, and he handles it so professionally. Just takes the base and keeps on moving.
Gorski fires the first pitch strike to Tuft, who comes up with the bases loaded. 6 hit by pitches. 5 walks for this Brewster staff. Down 8-4, top 9. On third is Hallback, second is Eddie King. Tuft lines it into left center field. A good swing. Back goes Turner, and he makes a diving catch. Will Turner showing off and keeping this game in reach for Brewster. Could have been a bases clearing extra base hit. It turns into a flyout. Let's go bottom 9. Last call for Brewster, down 8-4. Birds Broadcast Network, 8 for Orleans. Who's in the pitch? Who's going to get the final 3 outs? Well, who else would it be? Sean Matson comes in, the last pitch against Katuitt 2 days ago. Got a little bit unlucky with a end of the bat go-ahead single that scored a run that wasn't his. But he comes in up 4, looking to close this one out against Brewster. They'll go 9-1-2 against the righty out of Harvard.
Madsen trying to do his best Chris Clark impression. He's done a really good one all summer long. His former Harvard teammate and Firebird teammate just got drafted to the Los Angeles Angels yesterday in the 5th round. Madsen, if he wants to get it done, is going to have to face a pinch hitter who comes in as the first batter he faces with his perfect 0.00 ERA on the summer.
So it's Madsen against Michael Robertson out of U of Florida. 3 games on the year for Brewster. It's gone 1 for 7. First pitch from Madsen is outside. Also an RBI for Robertson. Madsen's got a little bit of experience here in Brewster in a 4-2 win. Got the save. 1-0 in their first strike. 1 inning. Got the save. 1 walk. 2 strikeouts as he closed that game on June 21st. The 1-1 to Robertson, off speed for a ball high. He'll face Robertson, then the top of the order, and Turner and Diaz guarding an 8-4 lead. Not a safe situation. 2-1 pitch is fouled away.
You know, you said Madsen got unlucky the last time he pitched. If you're going to want to beat him, you're going to have to get lucky. I mean, 10 2/3 innings pitched. He's only let 5 base runners reach with a walk and 4 hits. It's unreal.
The 2-2 is fouled back. He's been the most reliable arm out of the pen. He's gotten the biggest outs out of the pen for Kelly Nicholson's Firebirds. And he's looking to stop a 3-game losing streak with his best guy on the mound. Up 8-4, bottom 9. The 2-2 pitch is fouled away off the end of the bat by Robertson on the off-speed offering. Like Ian said, 10 2/3 innings, 12 strikeouts for Madsen. He's been the go-to guy for Orleans. 2-2, no outs. Robertson, swing and a miss. High fastball. Add another strikeout to the total. Madsen gets his first out of the inning.
That's such a tough spot for Robertson to step into. You know, he was hitting .280 in the middle of a season for Florida, and then he went cold at the end of the season. 0 for 27 to end his campaign with the Gators, and especially to come off the bench in a big game like this, it's difficult.
Will Turner tries to lay down a bunt, pops it foul. Back to the top of the order. 5th at-bat for Will Turner. A strikeout in the 5th, walk in the 1st, single in the 7th, ground out in the 3rd. The lefty Turner against the righty Madsen. Will come set. The 0-1 is popped up in fair territory, back of 3rd. Farrow slips, and it drops. Going to first, back to first, I should say, is Turner. Drew Farrow slipped on the grass behind 3rd base. And a runner reaches. It'll be a hit for Will Turner.
Yeah, it's because Farrow never touched the ball. That's the weird thing about baseball. You can't be in error if nobody touches the ball and it just drops. It's a shame because Farrow's been so good defensively today. He's just going to have to wipe it and realize that stuff happens, and the footing's not always going to be there.
Diaz takes the ball high from Madsen. Now a runner on first in Turner. And Ian, as we sit here, how big were those 2 insurance runs in the top of the 9th? 1-0 is a strike.
Monumental. Now, this is a Brewster team that is right in the thick of things in this East Division, fresh off back-to-back championship series appearances. They can score runs. They got good players.
1-1 up the middle. Oyama steps on second. The throw to first. Double play. Sean Madsen finishes this one off. 8-4 win for the Birds. They end the 3-game losing streak with a big win here at Stony Brook, and Madsen closes it out.
Another great double play turn by Joe Oyama. This team super excited. They rush the field, and they know how big this win is for the confidence of this group. You know, losing 3 games in a row, all of them, you had a chance deep into a ball game, and you can't get it done. And that's a game of baseball. It's not always going to break your way. But this is a group that has flirted around with the top of the standings all season long. They really believe in each other. And tonight, they got a little lucky, for sure. You know, 5 hit-by pitches, 5 walks. And they capitalized on those opportunities, and they got it done. I think this was one of the best well-rounded offensive performances of the year. I mean, crooked numbers at the start of the game in the 2nd, in the middle of the game in the 5th, and at the end of the game in the top of the 9th. And that's exactly what you want. your offense never gave up. Always had a little bit of something. And tonight is just a really good game. You're now 4-0 on the year against Brewster. You've clinched the season series, and that's big in terms of playoff positioning. And if you want to get into the playoffs, you would like to have a good head-to-head record against your East Division opponents.
We hope to get a player here on the post-game show. But like you said, Ian, that's big. Of course, you want to beat your East Division opponents. And it almost felt like you don't want to take anything away from the Orleans offensive performance, which was really good. But Brewster did not pitch well enough tonight to win.
No, you can't expect to win a game where you hand out double-digit free passes. And if you do, and you're counting your lucky stars and, whatever God you believe in bailed you out. But tonight, it was an Orleans offense that, it had been about a week since the bats had gotten really hot and stringed together a good performance. And there were just a lot of good names tonight that had solid games. Like Joe Oyama did his thing. Jack Penny came up in a couple big spots. And I thought the heart of the order was really good. It was a fluky game for sure. Not sustainable in terms of success. Brewster did out-hit you. But I just think it's just big for the morale of the offense overall. 8 runs is a big number. You continue to prove you can do this on a semi-consistent basis and that your pitching can carry you as well. Good things are going to happen.
8-4, the final score. Firebirds win as we start cooling down our post-game show. A big win for the Firebirds as they finish this one off. We're going to get our man Jake Casey on the post-game show coming up soon. A home run for him, a few hit-by pitches for him as well. Ian, you'll take this one over when he makes his way over. But he's a famous guy. Everyone's talking to him.
Well, everyone's talking to him because he had a great game. They're checking in on him because he's probably a little dinged up. He's going to have a few bumps and bruises. But probably because they haven't seen him in a while, right? First game that Casey's played in 10 days. And what does he do? He hits his team best third home run of the summer. So great to have Jake Casey back in the lineup. So much potential with him. He's still signing some autographs for kids right behind our broadcast setup off the right side of home plate. But his re-addition of a bottom half of the order and in center field, wherever you line him up, is going to be big for this team. They need some more power.
They got the power. A big week, of course, in the Casey family.
Yes.
The famous guy over here, but everyone, such a up and down 1 through 9 performance from this offense that everyone had an impact in.
Everyone had an impact, and Jake Casey had a big impact as well. He chucks on the headset. Jake, how you feeling? A little bumped, a little bruised?
Good to be back.
Man, how's it feel? First time in 10 days. Just tell me how that 10-day stretch was, maybe frustration. What was kind of the emotion heading into tonight for you?
Yeah, a little bit, but I was just trying to be patient and get back to being 100%, so I wasn't getting re-injured, but I feel really good to get back in it.
How'd that home run feel? Your third of the year.
Really good.
To go through out of bat.
I was a little sped up. I felt the first couple of pitches, and I just told myself to slow down and be really slow and just see it and take it the other way. And obviously, I didn't take it the other way, but he threw me up and in. I just reacted to it, so it was good.
And how was it for your whole group tonight? Because obviously Brewster didn't have its best pitching performance. A lot of free passes. How do you feel like the group kind of capitalized not only on the walks but the hit by pitches and capitalize on those opportunities with runners in scoring position?
Yeah, all those at bats matter. Those 4-pitch walks, those all matter. And everyone's taking their at bats. They're all taking team at bats, and if you build those up throughout the whole game, then you win like we did today.
And what do you think changed most for the offense outside of capitalizing on those 4-pitch walks? What didn't work in the last 3 games? What was your perspective kind of watching those 3 games?
Honestly, I think that our things just stay with it, and we didn't get our wins the last couple of days, but we stay with it, and I think we've been hitting really well the last week, and we just stay with it. And today we got the win.
Stay with it today, and you did it against Brewster. You got pretty close ties to this team. Your father played for them, a few years ago. He's pretty good with this team. How did it feel to do it against your pops' former squad?
Always feels good to hit a home run. Obviously against this past squad, but I don't know. I don't really think about that, but it was good to hit a home run for sure.
Well, we think about it. We're sentimental like that.
Always,
but you know what, Jake? I'm sure you're just happy to be back in the lineup,
sure.
doing your thing. Get some ice.
Yeah.
So you're being a little lucky, but you know what? Getting on base is getting on base.
And yeah, sounds good.
Exactly, dude. All right, thanks so much for joining us on Cooling Down.
Appreciate it.
That's Jake Casey after a big win for the Firebirds. He's scrambling back to his team because a lot of good emotions for him and his group right now in the post-game huddle. He might, yeah, exactly. He knows it.
So he's got to head back. But what a game for the Firebirds tonight. And I think it was capped really by a great middle relief by Evan Truitt. I think you got to give him a lot of credit.
Yeah.
First time out of the bullpen for him today. Started by Grayson Carter. He came in. He got a 2 2/3 innings, 3 hits. Did give up 2 runs, but he was really, really good. Gave him a lot of length, and then followed up. I mean, Connor Eaton came in. Jonathan Gonzalez with 2 strong innings. Derek Clark with a big out in that 8th inning with 2 men on and 2 out. Got the strikeout. And then Sean Matson, what else does he do but close games? That's what he did tonight.
You know, Dylan, I think you and I have had a lot of conversations about what's going to happen with the starting pitching with this team as handed player of the game, I believe. Well, Johnny Olmstead's getting congratulated for getting drafted, and Riley Fry's also getting congratulated for getting drafted. So shout out to them heading to a couple of great organizations in MLB. I would just say that, you know, the bullpen's so good that a few of these guys got to emerge as potential starters. We don't know who it's necessarily going to be. You know, Sean Matson started at Harvard. It could be him. Derek Clark started at Northwood, transferring to West Virginia. It could be him. And Evan Truitt tonight, a little bit of a role reversal. He's been a great starter for this team, and he comes out of a bullpen and gets it done. And Grayson Carter starts tonight. He had been coming out of a bullpen in prior appearances, getting it done there too. So Kelly Nicholson knows pitching better than, I think, a majority of the pitchers in the Cape Cod Baseball League because, you know, he pitched in college. He was a pitching coach here. He knows how the pitching situation works. I'm sure he understands what he has in that bullpen, and there are a few good names tonight, even a Jonathan Gonzalez, who can step up and start if you need him to.
Yeah, and I don't think the rotation's in shambles or anything like that at all. There are so many good arms on this team, they can piece it together. The thing on this team that really has to take a step and did tonight was the offense. And, of course, with some walks and some hit-by pitches, but you still got to get the big hits. And Eddie King had a big hit in that 9th inning. Jake Casey with the home run. And they did a lot of, I don't even know a verb for it, but they just passed the baton. They continued sack flies. Fenwick Trimble with 2 sack flies tonight. Jack Penny got a sack fly in there, too. They're getting jobs done when necessary, and that's something they weren't doing over the past 3 games. They do it tonight, and they're rewarded with a win.
I would just say the big thing is they didn't get out of our own way tonight, right? And it's difficult to do that in baseball because you want to press. You want to be perfect on every pitch you see in every at-bat. But sometimes it's just as simple as taking a pitch until they throw you a strike. And a lot of times tonight they didn't. Sometimes that ended up with a guy getting hit by a pitch. Other times it ended, as Jake said, in 4-pitch walks. And not only how those at-bats went, but also how the next at-bat went. You know, did the big hit come? And more often than not, tonight the answer was yes. So, you know, you got lucky a little bit tonight due to Brewster kind of bailing you out, but you capitalized in big spots. I mean, what were we talking about heading into tonight's game? You had stranded over 20 base runners in the previous 2 games. You can't win games with that. And similar to the same thing tonight with Brewster, you can't win games where you hand out more than 10 free passes. So I think it was a perfect storm for Orleans. I think they were swinging the bat well heading into this game, just getting a little bit unlucky. Tonight was due for some positive regression, and 8 runs was the answer for that.
So final score 8-4 as we wrap up here on Cooling Down. Of course, got to thank our sponsor, Mazio Construction. Always the best of the best. Who else can we thank but Mazio, the greatest post-game sponsor there is. Of course, before we get to that, on Thursday, off day tomorrow, Thursday, Firebirds back at it at Harwich at White House Field. Last time we'll be heading there. It'll be Orleans against Harwich. Big game for the Firebirds in terms of the standings. But Ian, who are we thanking before we go?
Of course, we're thanking, as you already dubbed them, the greatest post-game sponsor in the game, Mazio Construction. Mazio Construction LLC worked hard to build a resume for itself. Let them put their knowledge, experience, and passion together to work for you. Their team is committed to exceed your expectations. New home, addition to existing home, renovation, they handle it all. They work close with their clients to make sure that all your needs are met. They're on time, honest with schedule, and passionate about what they do. Give them a call. Let them introduce you to their work, and let's see how they can help you. Mazio Construction.
There we go. Post-game sponsor, bills paid. Game over, 8-4 final, Firebirds win. We're back Thursday, 6:30 first pitch, 6:15 pregame show from White House Field in Harwich. Birds, Mariners, big division matchup for Orleans. But everyone have a great night. Firebirds win 8-4 over Brewster.